Good afternoon and welcome to the AFRO's fourth annual Black Business Matters Expo. We're back. We're here again. I'm Lenore Housey, the Executive Director of the AFRO.
Good afternoon, everyone. Did you say 4?
This is our fourth one.
You know, I'm born January the 4th.
Oh, okay.
All right. You also know on the keyboard, the 4 above it is the money sign.
The money sign.
So if you're not in business to make any money, you just have a great hobby. But welcome again. I'm Kevin
Yes.
Impeccable Peck. Can you guys hear me? All right. The microphones may distort, not online, but here. So we're trying to use our inside voices instead of our outside voices.
Is this my inside voice?
Is that your inside?
I think it is.
I think it is. So it's 4 years. We started this in the pandemic.
Yes.
When many businesses went out of business, when many industries were changed, when many things changed.
That's right.
The whole world upside down.
Yeah. Yes.
But the AFRO, for over 131 years, Maryland's oldest Black business, has been here, and we just said, in the pandemic, let's grow stronger.
Yep.
Let's come together and let's really recognize the talents of those who have done it in business and those that want to do it.
That's right.
In business. So welcome. We have a live audience. We are.
Yes. Welcome to those who are live streaming.
We're hybrid.
And the ones that are here, like Kevin said, fourth year, first couple years were completely virtual. Then we started slowly but surely bringing just a small group here. So we're glad to have you all here. So as many of you probably know, May is National Small Business Month. And so we wanted to take the opportunity for this year's Expo to celebrate not just small businesses, but Black-owned small businesses, because we have our own challenges, our own successes, our own journeys. So welcome to each of you here. Congratulations for thriving and surviving and making it here today.
Did you say small? I hate that word.
Anyway, let's just go with that's the technical name of it. I know.
Nobody wants to think small. We're thinking big hits.
That's right.
You see how you have paper? Yeah. That's how we started in the newspaper. You see how I have the iPad? See how this is how we move.
Look, my tablet's over there, but you never know what's going to happen with technology, so I still have my paper.
So look, get ready for this year's Expo.
Yes.
Let's introduce our CEO. She's standing wonderfully. Come on into the screen, Dr. Frances Draper, the CEO of the AFRO.
Thank you, Lenore, and Impeccable. I think did they introduce me? They did. Okay. Hi. I'm Frances Tony Draper. Impeccable gave a little bit of, all right, the mic is working, a little bit of background about the AFRO. But the AFRO was founded almost 132 years ago by my great-grandfather and Kevin's great-great-grandfather, John Henry Murphy. And for the ladies in the room, the ladies business owners, with $200 in venture capital from my great-grandmother. That's enough. If you all want to hear that story, it's for another time. But needless to say, when reportedly less than 2% of the Black population could read, they had what some consider the unmitigated gall to start a publication. People ask us today, well, newspapers, aren't they in trouble? I'm saying, well, news is not in trouble. Information is not in trouble. Just good information is at risk. But we still need information. Anybody think about the fact that when the typewriter first came out, it had to have been new technology? Now, who uses a typewriter? Sorry, don't raise your hand. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to celebrate you. We're the Black business owners in the room. Where are you? Raise your hand. Come on, let's celebrate us. Let's celebrate us. And we're going to celebrate our sponsors and others who are here on today, because we make the economy go round. We have special welcome today from our mayor, Brandon Scott, and from our comptroller, Brooke Learman. And then I want to bring up, right after Mayor Scott and Comptroller Learman greet us, I want you to meet Terry Freeman, who is the executive director of this fine institution, the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. I want to do that. And then I'm going to introduce another special guest. So let's hear that message. Again, we're glad that you're here. Let me also ask right now, because I may not get the mic again, we're the AFRO team members who are in the room. Raise your hand. Thank you all for pulling this together. I didn't have to do anything but follow the script, which I'm off script now, and talking to the mic. All right, let's roll the greeting from Mayor Scott.
Welcome to AFRO's fourth annual Black Business Matters Expo, where this this year's theme is celebrating Black-owned businesses. It's truly an honor to greet you today as we celebrate innovation, collaboration, and growth. Our city is home to an incredible array of businesses from dynamic startups to established industry leaders. I'm proud to learn that so many of you here today, in person and virtually, are ready to showcase your achievements and forge new connections. I'm excited to learn that the online participation continues to grow every year for this expo, and that's just a testament to the entrepreneurial spirit that drives our community here in Baltimore and across the country. I want to personally thank all the sponsors, organizers, and every single participant for making this expo possible. It's your dedication and passion that makes our business community so exceptional. And thank you to the AFRO for continuing to not just lead in our community by reporting crucial news issues, but by putting on events like this that help drive business ideas and collaboration. Enjoy this year's expo and have a great time.
Greetings, Maryland State Comptroller Brooke Learman here. Delighted to welcome you to the 4th annual Black Business Matters Expo. Thank you to the AFRO for its leadership and for allowing me to express my support for this fantastic and important event. As our state comptroller, I'm committed to working with our state's phenomenal Black business leaders to ensure that your voices are heard and that you have a seat at the table where decisions are being made and where contracts are being signed. We've adopted a new vision in our agency to work in partnership to create a state that is more equitable, more resilient, and more prosperous so that every Marylander can reach their full potential. That means we must double down on our work to uplift Black-owned businesses across Maryland. That's why an event such as the AFRO's Black Business Matters Expo is important for you all who are attending this event. Black-owned businesses are an essential part of the economic engine of Maryland, and when you do well, Maryland does well, both as comptroller, seeing every dollar in and every dollar out of our state government, and as a member of the Board of Public Works. One of my top priorities is increasing state procurement with small businesses and minority business enterprises, MBEs. I often speak about how Maryland was a national leader in MBE procurement when we first created our program 45 years ago. But we still have quite a way to go to reach our statewide MBE participation goal of 29%, although we are making significant progress under partnership with the governor and the treasurer. I'm proud to report that over the past year, minority business enterprise, prime and subprime contractors have increased by over $102 million. Even with these improvements, the implications of falling 10% short and more below our MBE participation goals means that MBEs are missing out on billions of dollars in business opportunities and contracts. In Maryland, government procurement, when counting federal, state, and local procurement, represents about 15% of our state's GDP. The federal government alone spends around $45 billion on contracts in Maryland every year. Procurement is such an important part of our state's economy. If we are strategic and intentional as government leaders, it's also a way for us to lead efforts in driving inclusive economic growth in our state. There are opportunities for companies of all sizes to get involved in the state's procurement economy. And I want to strongly encourage all of the business owners, entrepreneurs, and those who may even be thinking about starting a business to register with the state. There are many opportunities available through the Small Business Reserve Program, which designates 15% of all agency procurements to qualified small businesses every year. SBR certification is available annually online through Maryland's e-procurement platform, e-Maryland Marketplace Advantage, or EMMA, at no cost. Small businesses are critical to building an inclusive economy and to sparking that private sector growth Maryland needs right now. We can only do better when we work together. Thank you so much for your work, your dedication to Maryland. Please keep in touch. I look forward to working together to build a better Maryland with you.
All right, let's thank our mayor and our comptroller for those messages. And let's thank our tech team for getting it together there. All right. And for those who are watching virtually, come on up, Terry Freeman, and bring us greetings.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, wonderful. That was great. Well, I'm Terry Freeman. I'm the president here at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. And it is truly our honor to be able to host the AFRO and this fourth annual Black Business Summit. We're so happy to be able to do that. And you know, it makes a lot of sense to do it here, right? Because we're named after Reginald F. Lewis. And if he wasn't an outstanding, superb titan of business, I don't know who was, right? And so it makes a lot of sense for this event to actually be held here. And I want to tell you, we're excited to partner with the AFRO. See, one of the things that I think is important when we talk about any type of business is that none of us truly is an island. We cannot do this stuff by ourselves. Businesses can't do it by themselves. Nonprofits can't do it by themselves. So we're always happy to partner with the AFRO because we know the importance that the Black media has played throughout time for Black folks in community. So I wanted to tell you a couple of things. Two things, okay, three. First, one, please take a look at our high school juried art show when you have a chance as you're walking around. These are high school students from around the state. These are high school students that are doing that artwork from around the state. We always talk about how awful these kids are. Let's talk about how good they are, right? So this is their work. That's the first thing. Second, we are going to be opening in August an exhibit called Eyewitness, which is about the impact of media on the civil rights movement. And we're getting a lot of our information from your archives. So when you have a chance in August, come on back and see us. You'll see that exhibit. And then finally, next year is our 20th anniversary. And we feel like it's really appropriate for us to focus on Reginald F. Lewis. So we will be opening an exhibit that is called Titan, and it will be about Reginald F. Lewis. So if you don't know, come on back so you can know. Have a great time this afternoon.
Thank you, Terry Freeman. Now I want to introduce a very special guest to you. Maria Martinez is the special secretary for Governor Wes Moore's Office of Small, Minority, and Women's Business Affairs. I hope I got that right. And we are so glad that she is here with us on today. So would you join me and say bienvenidos? Come on, we're going to practice a little Spanish. Can you all say bienvenidos? No, okay, that means welcome.
Muchas gracias, doctora. Un placer. Did you know she was a Spanish teacher as well? That was her major. I know, and her accent is right on point. Thank you so much, Dr. Draper. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity for being here. I bring you greetings from Governor Moore and much gratitude for the opportunity to share this afternoon with you. Again, I'm Maria Martinez. I'm the Special Secretary of the Governor's Office of Small, Minority, and Women Business Affairs. I'm Latina. I'm Afro-Caribbean descent, Colombian specifically, and then Costa Rica. My affinity and my passion is about inclusivity. It's about diversity and inclusivity. And I know it's something that is said often, but it's critical. It truly is the way of how our communities come together and support one another and lift each other. So I'm really honored to be in this role. When the governor, I was actually semi-retired when the governor asked me to please to take on this position, which is an honor beyond belief. The work has to be done, and being done under the leadership of Governor Moore. His vision, his directive, one of the first executive orders was about minority business enterprise. It's very serious to him. It's very serious to the administration. He's wanted to break down the silos that have existed. He wants to open up opportunity. And as you heard from the comptroller, she mentioned about the small business reserve being something of opportunity, which is actually through our office. Our office does not do the MBE certification, but we do the oversight for that program. We also, when it comes to our programs, we do the SBR certification and also the Veterans VSBE certification through our office. Those are really easy. They're really simple. and you call us and we will help walk you through it. It's done in a matter of hours, to be quite frank with you. So we're happy. You don't have to be an MBE to be an SBR, but please know that whatever work that you want to do with the state, that's also a facility that's very much easy to get to because the MBE takes a little bit longer, but you can do that right away. In addition to that, with everything that this beautiful state has had to overcome with the collapse of the bridge and through the 6 souls that lost their lives and those families, our heart always is with them. As we're in the rebuild, as we're in looking to the future, as we're looking to how we're going to make the opportunities as well to be part of this historical and monumental opportunity to rebuild this bridge. One of the focuses is also with minority business enterprise and participation. So one of the things I wanted to make sure that I explained was to participate in those programs, having a DBE, which is disadvantaged business enterprise, that's for federal dollars. That's one of the mechanisms you need to participate. And if you do have your MBE, all you have to do is just come through again and ask for the DBE certification. But if you're going to start your MBE certification, you literally just check off a box and it'll all get processed through. So I just wanted to make sure that we know, because it's something we've learned along the way, that you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know. I was an MBE myself, proudly to say, 20-some years. So when you don't have these access to this information, such as these expos, which is all about learning, it's all about growing. You're all entrepreneurs. Finding time to do anything, you have to, from getting ready for a meeting or a presentation to making sure you picked up your child, or you're taking care of a parent, or you have so many hats that you're wearing. So having access to all this information and understanding what's available, and know that you're not alone. The state is here to offer any support that we can offer. If our office doesn't know, we're going to help find where to go and who to talk to. So please feel free to always reach out to our office. We're a small team, but a very mighty team. And this is exactly what the governor has wanted to foster, and all of his agencies are becoming more of that, that open access. So if you call someone and they don't know, and maybe it's not in their world, they're going to make sure they connect you with someone else. So I just wanted to say thank you again for the opportunity to be here. And my hat's off to you all for doing what you do. And just remember, you're not alone in this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Martinez. And thank you to all of the officials, the mayor, the comptroller, for supporting this event. Speaking of supporting the Expo, you can see around the perimeter of the room, we have several sponsors without whom this could not be possible. So please give all of our sponsors a round of applause. We're going to hear from a couple of them who are here now. We're going to hear from them later, but I like to call from Chase. Where's Hans? Is he? Oh, there he is, queued up and ready to go. So if you can come up, this is Hans Petit-Homé. He is the senior business consultant at Chase. How are you, sir?
Excellent.
Good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
So, if I give you the mic, you got to promise to give it back to me.
I'll hold it for you.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm going to ask you questions that I'm going to let you answer. We know that Chase is partner of the AFROs for several years, and we know that you have a lot of services and programs. So tell us what you do, and then tell us about the programs that the Chase has for Black-owned businesses.
Well, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Hans Petit-Homé, Senior Business Consultant with JP Morgan Chase. What we provide in a nutshell is resources, right? If you heard earlier, the speakers mentioned of resources, getting your MBE and certification. So we have a business coaching for impact program. And what that program does, we sit one-on-one with the business owners, and we go to a 3-month program where we teach you business operations, where we teach you strategic business development. We go over marketing and cash flow, right? So literally we come in and sit with you and go over every single step of your business to help you get to the next level. The program is paid for and sponsored by JP Morgan, so there's zero out of pockets. There's no line item for you guys, right? But the goal of the program is 2 things. One, to teach you and help you scale your business. And secondly, to make your business profitable. We know small businesses run the economy and the community that we participate in. If your business succeeds, you're going to hire within the community, and therefore it's a win for the community.
That's incredible. And so you have information that people can get at your table over here? Right over here. You got other representatives from Chase with us. We're so glad to have you as a partner, and we're so glad what you do for the business community. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, next up is from IFA International Franchise Association. Yes, David Smith, who's the Director of Diversity Programs. And we're really glad to have you here because I think there are many people here who do not know about the franchise opportunities that are available for business owners. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, so IFA is a 60-year-old trade association based in Washington, D.C. We're here, we say we protect, enhance, and promote the franchise business model. I run our Diversity Institute, and there we're poised with bringing more people of color into the franchise business. We want to bring you into franchise business ownership, whether it's 1 unit, 10 units, or 20 units or more. We provide tools and trainings to help you get into any of these over 1,200 franchise brands that are a part of IFA. We recently just launched our Franchise Ascension Initiative, launched on May 1st, which is a program. It's a 6-month boot camp accelerator for businesses who are really interested in starting with a brand. We'll start at the end of August and go until February. Some really intense learnings for everybody. Some online mentorship, and then also access to capital resources, and then pairing you with different franchise brands at the end of the program. If you want to learn more, you can come see me in the corner table. And yeah, we're just really happy to support this event with the AFRO, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, David. Yes, make sure you visit IFA's table. Impeccable?
If you're tuning in live, this is the 4th annual, this is for the people streaming, Black Business Matters Expo. I'm glad you stopped in. You probably saw the link or you registered online. You might be doing other things like you used to multitask when you were working from home, supposed to be getting paid working from home. But just something said today is going to ignite your business. One small thing could change your business. One small idea, one new just tweak to your business can change it. Again, this is Reginald Lewis Museum. My frat brother. I'm sorry, I had to say it for all the Kappas in the house. All right. We knew it was a couple, but I'm going to introduce, since we live, Mr. Ed Edwards from Maryland Live. I'm sorry, Ed Evans from Maryland Live. Give him a hand. We found out we were cousins. You know, Baltimore is really, but you know, you call somebody your cousin. In business, it's all about networking. It's all about your relationships. And just in 30 seconds of just sharing with a person, you can really find out that you're connected. And once you're connected, you can make things happen. So Ed, just tell them about what you do at Maryland Live. And then we said we were going to wing it. Let's wing it.
All right, well, let's wing it. I'm Ed Evans. I am the Executive Director of DE&I and Government Affairs for Live Casino and for the Cordish Group. From a DE&I perspective, what that means is I jokingly tell people I'm the accountability meter. I kind of make sure that, you know, the targets that we talk about, the 29%, as Governor Moore has always said, it was never really a target back in the day. It is now. We're kind of sharing that same message. We have a target at Live of minority participation of 22%. I am proud to say that last year we exceeded that with 24% MB participation. Thank you. I have a lofty goal for 2024 to hit 30%, which I'm trying to. I've partnered with MDOT and a couple of other agencies to help small businesses get their feet in the door. I believe in something called 100 pennies to a dollar. And that's the way I operate with our company. We try to find the smallest of small businesses, the largest of large, but as long as we can get as many people in the door and give them access to the opportunity. And I want to say that again, it is the access to the opportunity. It's not the opportunity. And I think people need to understand that. But without access, there is no opportunity. So we're granting them the access.
Thank you for the access. Ed Evans, welcome to the family, right? Because you know this is the Afro family. A lot of people, when you meet them, they'll say, I used to work at the Afro. I used to sell papers, or I wrote, or I took pictures at the Afro." 130 years, somebody, if you're from Baltimore, worked at the Afro. And so we're glad to have you in the family. And we're excited because a lot of times money's left on the table because we're just not going to get it, right? Or we're not qualified to get it. Yeah,
just from qualifying. So now I say this to all small businesses. The MBE process is not intrusive. It's not that difficult. There's a ton of help out there. So let's get the opportunity, get the certification, get on the website so that other businesses know that you are available. What we need to do is eliminate the excuses of I can't find any minority business to partner with. We got to get rid of the excuse. So the more we can do that, the better we can hold other people accountable to make sure that we get a seat at the table.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Maryland Live, for being a sponsor. We have one more sponsor before we get into the program. We thank you for being here. You feeling all right? You know, nobody wants to come and sit down and hear somebody talk. But this is about business. This is about Black business. Just say it one time, Black business. Yeah, you got to say, you got to be excited about your business. If you are not excited when you meet this person, you know, when you get a chance to network with the person sitting next to you, well, how are they going to do business with you if you are not super excited about your business? This next person, Obi, come on up. You know, I would love to say his whole name. I'm gonna let you say the whole name. But we met last year, and so when we saw each other, it wasn't like, "Hey, Obi," we dapped it up like boom. You know what I mean? Like we were just like we went to high school together, right? And it was a connection. So Obi, thank you again for being a sponsor of Black Business Matters Expo, the 4th annual. That's the money number. The number 4. Y'all gonna remember that before the end of the day. So just tell us a little bit about what you do and about the impact you're making in the community and Black businesses.
I also want to make sure yeah, Anthony here.
He always forgets me.
Thank you, Kevin, for the great introduction. So my name is Obi Ndukwe. Just stick with Obi, you'll be safe. I'm one of the executives at Security Plus Federal Credit Union. We're a credit union in Baltimore that looks at making a positive difference in our community by helping not only our business customers, our members, and also our traditional members in the community. Our goal is to really help entrepreneurs find the way to create their own financial path and freedom. We all know that that can be challenging in different markets that we're within, but we're here to build that community partnership. I have with me Anthony Carpenter, our Vice President of Business Services. He's going to tell you quickly about what we're doing as well in regards to small business, especially SBA. And we're also giving $200 out today. So who wants $200? Anybody? Okay, so you got to come to our table. He'll tell you about how you can get that. Anthony, I'm going to pass the mic on to you, my brother.
Thank you, Obi. Again, we have a small business program that we just recently introduced. Before I get into that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what we do. Obviously, if anyone has a business account, is checking, savings, money market, CDs, if you need payroll, if you need merchant services, we're here to assist you. We basically offer free accounts, which something that doesn't happen a lot now on the business side. And to talk about our small business program, because we just introduced it, one thing that I'm proud about is we have a eligibility conversation. So we sit down with individuals who are entrepreneurs who want to start their business. We set them on the right path. We sit down with them and we have a vendor that we use, because if you know anything about SBA, it's very detailed. It changes all the time. So you need to make sure that you have a dedicated individual. So we have a company that we partner with. They review the SBA paperwork. We look at everything. If we're talking about projections, if your projections are out of line, we advise you to partner with SBDC, with SCORE, or someone like that. And basically, we put you in the best position so that your loan application can be approved. We don't guarantee approval, but we put you in a situation where when your application is submitted, you have the best opportunity to be approved. So I'm proud about that. That's something that we do. We take the time. Not many institutions will take the time and work with that entrepreneur. We also work with established businesses. So don't think it's just entrepreneurs. We work with everyone from A to Z. So we're excited about our program. And if you guys have an opportunity, please come see us. Stop at the table. We'd love the opportunity to speak with you.
Thank you, Security Plus. Thank you, Obi and Anthony. You know, you want to show your athletic ability, you go that way, or you can walk. Well, we are at the 4th annual. You got to remember, it is a hybrid situation, y'all. You know, we got some streaming going on. This is live streaming, right? This is like hot mic and all of that good stuff can happen.
And all of that good stuff. They were great information. Remember to visit their tables. We also have some other presentations and workshops that we're going to be telling about. But listen, we're ready to start the expo. We've got a lot of great sessions, wonderful information, whether you're streaming or you're here in person. Take notes because you're going to learn a lot, even though you've already learned and you've heard a lot that you may not have known. So we're about to get started. We've got people streaming from all over the country. So shout out to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Atlanta.
Philly, what up?
Philly, what up? Okay. We've got obviously people streaming from Maryland, all over the country. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And we hope that you learn and hear something that you may not have learned or heard before today in today's expo.
I thought it was the breakdown. Okay, because we receive, you know, that like you can see really how hard it could be, right? If you're not in TV without a teleprompter. And anyway, we're streaming, y'all, because we received such a great feedback.
Great feedback
at last year's hybrid expo.
Beautiful.
This was written for us. Okay, without further delay, let's get this programming started.
Let's get it started.
Did ChatGPT write this? Who wrote this?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Anyway. So how do we start?
Well, we're going to start. I think we're going to transition from this part of the program to the workshops and sessions. Okay, so for those of you who are here, again, welcome. We have a lot going on in the building today. Again, thank you, Terry, for opening up your home and letting us have this expo here, because it is really important that we have it at a place that signifies so much for the business community. And so each of you should have received one of these cards when you came in. If you don't have one, raise your hand and we'll make sure that someone walks around and gives you one. This is the program. We have a hand here, so somebody from the AFRO team can make sure that she has a card. And so you'll see that on the first side of the card are the in-person sessions. So from here, you're going to proceed to the 4th floor. There are sessions going around in each of the boardrooms. Signage will be there to direct you. There's also on the 4th floor, now don't spend the whole afternoon out here, but you're gonna like it. On the terrace, we have Black-owned wine and spirits retailers. They're all set up and ready for you for a tasting and to sell you some of their wine and spirits. So that's taking place upstairs as well. So you're going to proceed to the 4th floor. Now, for those of you who want to stay on this floor, and we welcome you to, because here's where the food is, but also the same sessions that our virtual audience is viewing, you will be able to view right here on the screen. So you're welcome to stay here, but go throughout the building between this floor and the 4th floor, and we'll let you know when it's time to come back down for the end of the program. Any questions?
The number of the day is 4. Let's go. 4th annual.
Yeah, the 4th floor.
Let's get it started.
4th annual, 4th floor. Let's get it started.
Feels like I'm at church and looking on the.
Everybody say?
On the screen.
House for a meeting, and this is during transparency and accountability. We want to know what the spend is with Black firms. During the Obama administration, his first term, the goal was 5% spend with minority firms. He surpassed that and reached somewhere around 7%. Great. His second term, the goal was 7%. He surpassed that and went to 9%. And when I talk to business owners across the country, Black business owners, Black community leaders, Black chambers. I was saying, hey, are you feeling this surge of new opportunity? And everybody was saying the same thing. No, it's not hitting my community. No, it's not hitting my business. No, it's not hitting my chamber or community. And so when we talked to then President-elect Biden, we said, look, we want to know what's being spent with Black firms. And for the first time in this country's history, he disaggregated the numbers. We had him go to what is called our Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he disaggregated the numbers. And what that means to your viewers here today is that the Asian business community received 1.8% of the spend. The federal government spends $960 billion each year. President Biden has a goal of going from 11% to 15%. The Asian business community receives 1.8%. The Hispanic business community receives roughly 1.71%. And Black-owned businesses throughout all of our years of being advocates and working hard, we pay taxes, we vote, we even pay tithes and offerings, we receive 1.5% of the spend. And so you ask yourself, well, where is the rest of the spend going? White women receive 78% of the minority spend. And so when I go out and advocate, I am very intentional about what we're advocating for. I'm very transparent in reference to what is that meaning to my community and how can we increase that spend. We know that the current spend is 1.55. We're trying to get it to 3%. Roughly $900 billion, 3% of that is a huge number, and it could mean a huge impact to Black business owners and Black communities across the country. So the biggest difference I've seen since I've been at the helm at the U.S. Black Chamber is even what I do. I'm more intentional today than even I was when I first began, because I understand that we can get lost in the soup if we're just talking about the total package spend. I'm more concerned about what is spent with Black firms.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for pointing that out. And, you mentioned a little bit before about capital being obviously a significant challenge to Black businesses. I wanted to know, what do you think are the most significant challenges today, and how do they compare to issues that were faced in the past? And if you even want to dive deeper on those specifics of capital challenges that Black businesses face.
Well, if you ask any small business owner in America what their number one concern is, white, Black, male, or female, they will say access to capital is a concern. But when you talk to Black business owners, they will say number one, number two, and number three, as in reference to their top issues, are affordability, availability, and accessibility. We did a project in 2017 with Rutgers University where we took a Black business owner and a white business owner. Same credit score, same business plan. Black business owner, college graduate, white business owner, high school graduate. Black business owner, homeowner, white business owner, renting. Black business owner, married with children, white business owner, single. All of the things that you would think would allow him to be funded, and they had the same credit scores. Going in asking for the same $100,000, same business plan. The white firm received $100,000. The Black firm got $40,000. We are a spiritual people. We left, that business owner left saying, gosh, great, I'm going to take this lemons and make margaritas out of it. But we know that 90% of small businesses fail within the first years. And it's not because of lack of intellect. It's not because they were in the wrong business. They did not have the funding that they needed to be able to get them through difficult times, and more importantly, through growth opportunities. And so access to capital is extremely important in our community. We get half of what we need, and we pay twice the interest rates for the funding that we do get. And so the U.S. Black Chamber is partnering with Lendistry to make sure that all Black-owned businesses that are looking for capital can get it. You can go to our website to make sure that you fill out your credit application. We're not as concerned about your profitability. We're not as concerned about, did you make money last year? We're concerned about, what does this opportunity present to you, your community, and the businesses that you're partnering with. We're going to make sure that you get the capital that you need.
Absolutely. And that's awesome that you're working with Lendistry. I've worked with them before, but could you tell people a little bit more about Lendistry if they're not familiar with it?
L'Industry is a Black-owned CDFI. They're the largest Black CDFI in the country. They're guaranteed funded by the Small Business Administration, and they are great partners to the U.S. Black Chamber to make sure that our businesses are getting the capital needs that they desire and have historically not been able to acquire.
Awesome. And what are some of the other, resources that, you provide to Black businesses as far as helping them to ease some of the pain points and the challenges that they face?
Well, we're just coming out of the pandemic, COVID-19. And during that period of time between February of 2020 and April of 2020, we lost 41% of all Black-owned businesses in this country. That represents roughly 442,000 businesses closed. And when we surveyed them, 70% said the reason that they closed was not because they didn't have the financial literacy that most banks said that was the case, not because they were in the wrong businesses. It's because they did not have the information that was needed. And so what the U.S. Black Chamber is doing is we have now acquired an organization called the National Association of Black-owned Broadcasters. They represent 188 Black radio stations and 12 Black TV stations. This way, we're able to get information to our listeners, to the business owners, and to the communities that our businesses are in, to make sure that the information is timely and accurate so that we can make the decisions that are needed to make sure that our businesses are moving forward. So the U.S. Black Chamber is really looking forward to having partners like the AFRO to make sure that our listeners, that our viewers, and businesses in our communities are getting the information directly from the source of Black-owned perspective. And so part of our future is going to be more conversations like the ones that we're having today to make sure that our members and business owners are getting the information that they need.
Absolutely. And congrats on that work. And now, I would like to get a little bit into diversity, equity, and inclusion. We know that DEI efforts have come under attack. As of late in 2023, Texas enacted a law that prohibits public higher education institutions from using state or federal funds to promote, support, and just put on DEI programming. A number of lawmakers in other states have also followed suit, as we've seen. What do you think about all of this? Do you feel like we have, taken a step back as a society? And, just what is your reaction to what's going on right now with DEI initiatives?
Yeah, this is a crazy time, but this is not the first time we've seen this happen. It's not the first time that we've had this fight and or battle. I think if you ask the majority of CEOs around the country, they agree, most Americans agree, that diversity for this country is important and it's good for the economy. You've got a small number of individuals that are feeling the loss, the competition now of non-white male business owners that are competing for the same opportunities, and they are now, in many cases, losing to minority and women-owned businesses. And so they're trying to figure out how can they keep that advantage, how can they keep that leg up. Most corporate CEOs saying, hey, we're going to continue to do what's right by our customers, our communities, as well as our employees and vendors, but it's getting more difficult for them to do that. And where we're looking for help is we're looking for good organizations that understand that it's a good decision. We say, and I know that this is the campaign season and we're hearing a lot about making America great again. And I say, Black people want America to be great too. But in order for there to be a great America, there must be a great Black America. And in order to have a great Black America, you must have great Black businesses. And in order to have great Black businesses, you need great Black chambers and you need great partners that understand the challenges as well as the benefits of having great Black businesses and great Black organizations. So the U.S. Black Chamber is continuing the fight, continuing the advocacy, and where it needs to be changed, we will do that. Let me say this. I don't think that many of the programs that were created are now doing the job that they were created for. When I tell you that white women receive 78% of the spend, that was never the intentions of DE&I programs. Historically, Black people have always led the fight for diversity and inclusion, But now most of the benefactors are white people. White people are receiving 98% of every dollar spent in this country from both Black, white, male, female, and all ethnic groups. We've got to be more intentional about the fight going forward. And so I'm saying, yes, DE&I needs to be amended and not done away with. So I'm going to continue to fight. The U.S. Black Chamber is fighting across the country, literally each and every day. We're having conversations with corporate America, with the federal governments, from both our presidential candidates, to let them know that we're not going anywhere, that this country is only going to be great when all of its citizens, both Black, white, male, and female, have the opportunities to be great as well.
Absolutely. And so my last question for you, obviously leveraging all of your years of experience, what would be one piece of advice that you would offer to Black business owners right now?
I think what Black business owners can make sure that they do is get certified as Black-owned business. The reason I say that, right now today, or let's say 2 years ago, you could be certified as a woman-owned business. You could be certified as a disabled business. You can be certified as an Asian-owned business, but if you were Hispanic business or a Black business, you were certified as a minority-owned business. And so corporations are saying, "Hey, we want to go support Black-owned businesses." Consumers are saying, "Hey, we want to support Black-owned businesses." And when we have those conversations with corporate America, federal, state, and local governments, the conversation is the same. Ron, we do more with Black firms, but we either can't find them and or they don't have the size and scale. And so for those listeners, the viewers, and as well as your attendees, 2 things I need you to do. Write this down: BYBLACK.US, buyblack.us, not BUY, but BYBLACK.US, to onboard your Black-owned firm. What we found during COVID, firms that were certified as Black-owned put up against a non-Black firm, same product, consumers, both white and Black, said they would support the Black product. But we've got to make sure that we're being intentional about making sure that people know, both consumers as well as corporate America, that we are who we say we are. The reason that's important: a few years ago, after the murder of George Floyd, there were several corporations coming out with great programs for Black-owned businesses. Particularly, there was one that was created for Black restaurants. It was when restaurants were closing because of the challenges faced by COVID. And so there was a program called the Restaurant Revitalization Program that was providing funding to minority as well as all restaurants. We had a partner that said, "Hey, if you're a Black-owned restaurant, we'll waive the delivery fees for those firms that were involved." It was one of the mega tech firms that was out providing free delivery service. We'll call them out. And they were providing free services, and it was great. After 3 months, they came back and said, "Ron, Black restaurants have grown by 300%. We were like, "Whoa, wait a minute. I'm talking to Black restaurants every day, and they're still facing many of the challenges that were faced prior." And when we looked at the list of businesses that were participating, they weren't Black at all. They were Asian-owned restaurants, Hispanic restaurants, pizza parlors. Everybody was self-identifying as Black-owned, as well as gay and lesbian, female. They just checked every box. And when the program was created, the Black restaurants and the funding that was available for them was now being alluded to the businesses that needed it the most. Secondly, there are programs that are out here that are creating algorithms for minority firms where you can self-identify. Well, we know where there's self-identification, many times is not as accurate as can be. So the U.S. Black Chamber, for your listeners, has created our own Black business certification, free of charge, nationally recognized. So if you're certified in Maryland, you're certified in California, Texas, New York, you don't have to go state by state. I'm going to ask some difficult questions that only Black people can appreciate. And it is automatic and it is virtual. I'm going to ask you things like, when did you see Roots? What was your perspective on Roots? And if you're not a Black-owned business, there's going to be some different answers than that. I'm not concerned about, did you make a profit last year or did you lose money? I'm concerned about, are you truly 51% owned by a Black person or not? I'm not going to say, hey, on your birth certificate, it needs to say your mother was Negro or colored. I just want to make sure that you are who you say you are. And if so, we can make sure that we support your business and or your products going forward. And you can be found in our directory.
Absolutely. And can you just shout out that link one more time?
BYBLACK.US, buyblack.us. And if you're looking for information on access to capital, contracting opportunities, training, you can go to the US Black Chambers, CHAMBERS.
Easy to pronounce. It's not no hard, complicated French or Italian label name. And we felt like wifey was just really rolls off the tongue. Most people understand what wifey is. It's cultural reference. And we wanted to make sure that people, when they went into restaurants or whether they went into a wine shop, they could easily feel comfortable ordering our product and still get quality liquid, quality juice, but with an easier brand. And also they would understand the education behind it. So that was the whole start of the impetus as to why we got Freddie. That was the whole impetus as to why we started the Wifey Wines.
Okay, wonderful. I love that. Making the wine enjoying experience a little bit more enjoyable, like you said, by simplifying it, making it understandable to the average person. Because I'm not going to lie, Sauvignon is not easily pronounced. It does not sound
like, what's the difference between Sauvignon Blanc and the label names itself? And they're like, this is the I don't be like, oh, I don't know.
Wine can be a very complicated experience, but you had given us your timeline, noting that you guys came up with this idea at the top of 2019. It took you the entire year to kind of get it established, brought in, and then you mentioned March of that next year, which of course we all know was COVID-19. Can you talk to me about what hurdles that you encountered with Wifey Wines, particularly during the pandemic, and how did you overcome those to achieve your success?
Yeah. So that pandemic was something else. I tell you, it was a time you just had to be there. Everybody was there. But I feel like this is a story we're going to be telling 40, 50 years from now about, all the challenges people, and especially entrepreneurs, went through during the pandemic. So we were scheduled to go to market at retail in March of 2020. And we had a whole go-to-market strategy. We had samplings, we had commitments from retailers, we had a distributor. And literally 2 weeks into March, the world shut down, right? And I'm just sitting in my house. I'm like, wait, what just happened? Our distributor was in Florida and all of our commitments, retail commitments, were in Florida. The wine and spirits industry is a bit nuanced to the fact where there's 3 tiers. So there's a supplier, which is Wifey, and then there's a distributor, which is people that are in that business, and there's retailers. If you think about your local Costco, Total Wines, those are like, regional brands that nationwide and regional brands that everybody know. But as a supplier, I can't sell directly to Costco. I can't sell directly to Total Wine or your neighborhood wine shop or your neighborhood liquor store. I have to go through a distributor. And I can't sell directly to a consumer unless I go through an online retailer that's licensed in that business. So think about 2 weeks into March, you have this whole plan, you have your commitments, you're ready to go. The world shuts down. We lose our contract with the distributor. We lose our commitments to the retailers. And so we just have 600 cases sitting in the US market. By the way, we import our wine from Italy. So we fought to get it in here, and then we just have it sitting here. Like, no way to sell it, no way to move it, because I need a distributor. I ended up calling a retailer, a huge retailer that's in the DMV area. And I said, listen, this is what I'm dealing with right now. I don't know where to go. I know the world is shut down. What do you recommend? What's any advice you would give me? And he was like, you know what? I'm going to connect you with a local distributor out here. And I believe in you, because me and him had worked on previous businesses. I helped build the Ciroc brand as well. And he's like, I believe in you. And I know that if you have this new brand. I know it's going to go. So I'm going to connect you to the distributor. And I had to go pitch the distributor that following week on what Wifey was, what our marketing plan was, what our goal was. The distributor loved it. I remember him calling back like a couple of days later. He's like, okay, send me the cases. And I was like, okay, how many cases do you need? I think he's going to say like 100, 150. He said, send me all your cases. And I said, all of the cases? He's like, send all of them. Now, this is like, we're in our house. I don't even know if like people are really on social media like that, or we're doing a bunch of lives, or we're all just locked in though. And it's only essential workers going outside, right? And we ended up shipping him the 600 cases to get it to him. And 2 weeks later, this guy calls me and he's like, okay, that's done. So can you send me more cases? And I say, wait, hold on. Where are the cases that we just sent you? He's like, I sold them all. I sold them across the DMV area. There were 100 stores, like 150 stores. I sold them all. And I'm like, okay, wait, because we have to go get more product, and our product comes out of Italy, and we didn't even think that we were going to sell all of these cases this quickly. So he's like, okay, well, can you get it to me in like the next month? And as you know, as an entrepreneur that is dealing anything with borders, you know, if you're importing your products, you had to deal with shipping, planes, and that was not the best during the pandemic. So we got a reorder in for him and got our product here, I think by the top of the summer, and gave him more product. But we are a brand that sells 12 bottles in one case. So that's 7,000 bottles that we unloaded in the DMV area, and stores were calling to reorder because we literally, which I'll get into later, pivoted our marketing plan from having this in-person strategy and all of these samplings and different things that we wanted to do, events and programming, to now everything is focused on social media. How do we get the brand out there? How do we make people aware that this brand exists? How do we get them interested in wanting to try the brand? And it was working because people were going to these retail stores and ordering from the outside of the store because they couldn't go in and peruse around the store. Remember, you had to stand outside to order stuff. So people were walking up to windows and saying, do you have the new Wifey? I would like to try it. I want to buy it. So that was that was our start in the pandemic. And it was a very crazy start. You don't always hear these lucky, successful stories. But we were lucky enough to be able to pivot.
All right. And pivot you did. You made it work, and it worked out in your favor. So you talked about, people and the struggles that they endured during the COVID-19 pandemic. One of those being the inability to kind of shop as usual, where there was no casually browsing, picking up, ooh, this looks interesting. Like they kind of had to move with intention and know what they wanted. Can you please tell us, what is it that people can get from you guys? What is your guys' selection? What wine options do you have? What are you currently offering? What can we anticipate furthermore? I know you guys got some stuff in the work. Summertime is on the way.
Yeah. So we are actually rebranding now. So we learned a couple of hard lessons during the pandemic, even though it was great, business was great, but we learned a couple of hard lessons on how you import and the taxes and fees that you bring in. So we looked at the brand again and decided, oh, did you lose me?
No, I can still hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. We looked at the brand, we looked at our financials, and we decided that we need to pivot a bit again. So prior to our rebranding, we had a rosé that was a dry rosé that a sparkling rosé that people could get, and then we had a sweet white wine that was also sparkling. Now we're going into, based on where the market is going, where our consumer and what they want to drink, we're going into more ready to drink. So now we have a ready to drink mimosa coming out with a softer bubble, a mojito, and a margarita, and they're all wine-based. And we're so excited to get back on the market midsummer. So right now, that's what we're focused on.
Okay. Super exciting. Ooh, we love a wine that tastes like a cocktail.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. Please, I was about to say, at the end of this, I will definitely get my information on where I can get my Wifey wine.
Yes.
Of course, being a minority-owned business, that being a woman-owned business, that being a Black-owned business, there are issues that you're going to endure, many of which you've already kind of talked about in some small detail. But furthermore, sometimes it's your competition underestimating you. Can you tell me, as a woman in business, what strategies have you employed to overcome those challenges? So like we said, whether that be underestimation or intimidation even from competitors, those being male competitors, or your white counterparts. And what advice do you have for any other women who are looking to get into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, sure. So in the wine and spirits industry, it's a male dominated industry. So I'm often the minority in a room. I have two strikes against me. I'm Black and I'm a woman. And those groups are often overlooked in no matter what industry you're in, right? So when I walk in a room, I already know I'm being underestimated, and sometimes they may even try to intimidate me. I don't let that bother me. I'll tell you a quick story. One time I went to go meet with a retailer who had a couple of restaurants, and I was trying to sell in the wifey rosé into his restaurants. And he looked at the packaging and literally looked at me and was like, "What do you know about wine?" And I was like, there are so many people in the wine business. I'm not a grower. I've never said I'm a sommelier. I don't go around acting like I know what temperature of the soil it needs to be, how much it needs to rain to grow the grape. I'm not one of those people. I am a marketer though, and I am a businesswoman, right? And I do believe in a good concept with a good story, good packaging, good juice will result in success. So I told him that, and then he looks at the packaging and he's like, "I don't really like this. You need to change." Mind you, we're like in our second order of cases that we've ordered from Italy. And he's like, "You need to change the packaging. You need to change the name." And I was like, "What?" I said, "What kind of conversation are we having right now? Like, we're like already 8 months into the business. Like, the name is not changing. The package is not changing. It's one thing if you're not interested, but for you to just try to tell me how to run my business when I know that you would not tell a male counterpart that, sometimes it can be a little defeating. So what I try to do, I always remind myself of, there's two ways you can proceed in life, right? Sometimes it calls for you to be fair and right, and you get one outcome. And then sometimes it's, what is your goal and what are you trying to get to? What do you want? And you get another outcome. Those two things don't coexist together. So it's either, do I want to give him a lesson in how to deal with Black women and women in general and how you should not be talking about people's business? Or do I just want to make sure we get shelf presence at these restaurants and get to my goal? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to a barbecue with this guy. I'm just doing business with this guy. Your opinion of me or women in general does not bother me. It doesn't mean anything to me. So I always remind myself of that before taking anything to heart or making it personal. It's about, do I want to be fair and right in this situation? In some situations, don't get me wrong, call for being fair and right. So sometimes I might, you know what, let me check you on this. But some situations, because of maybe a deal or a pathway to success, it calls for you going in there to get what you want and you leave nothing on the table, right? So my advice to other entrepreneurs is, especially women, is sometimes people are going to test you. It's about whether you want to be right and fair and you want to stand on a hill and argue about it, or, because some people are just challenging people and that's how they live their lives. And whatever you're going to say to them might not even matter. Or do you want to get what you want? Because those are two different pathways and two different outcomes.
Absolutely. Picking and choosing your battles is, I think, a lesson that once you learn it, you don't forget it for sure. So I'm really happy to hear that you overcome those. And thank you for sharing that with anybody else who might be in need of hearing that. For our next question, can you talk to me about some of the things that you've been intentional with throughout the development and the growth of your business? So obviously you've learned a few lessons yourself. You talked about with the importing, of the wine. You talked about, like you said, picking and choosing your battles. And then you guys had to become really reliant on social media at a time in which where you weren't planning to. What are some things where, like, for my brand to reach its target audience, for sales to be their most successful, and for us to just kind of thrive in general? What are some things that you've been like, this is not changing, we are intentional in doing this?
I think I can give you two things. Being intentional, the one thing I wanted to make sure we continuously reminded ourselves was that we started this brand to educate people on wine in the easiest ways possible. So even when we go out to market any marketing material, marketing assets, we want to make sure that we are doing just that. That's our goal, right? So, we're more of a celebratory brand. We believe in celebrating every moment in your life, not just, the big ones, but the small ones too. Those all matter. Pat yourself on the back. But also we want to make sure that we are educating people on this wine, this is how you order it, this is what you eat it with, this is what you pair it with, or whatever, doing our best in that area. My partner, who's also Black, he owns Rap Snacks. And I think as an entrepreneur, to be successful as an entrepreneur or to even open up a brand, I think your thought process has to be different. I always tell people the story. I seen Kobe Bryant, an interview many moons ago, years ago. And although he's not responsible for this approach, this way of thinking, he made it popular. He would always say that it takes 10,000 hours to be best at something, to be the best at whatever it is that you're trying to do. 10,000 hours, you need to invest that time, whether you do it all at once or whether you break it up over years. But you got to get close to 10,000 hours to be kind of good at it. And then later in an interview, he goes on to say about how he practices and how he gets ready for a game, how he makes sure he's number one because he practices in the unknown. My entire career, I have taught myself, and it resonated with me because my entire career, I literally would teach myself about how do you grow a business? How do you still get to your goal? Even in the unknown, aliens can come down tomorrow, and everybody's like, wait, what? How are you still getting to closing that deal? Or if you're making money or your goal, how are you still doing that? And that takes a different thought process, as opposed to you being reactionary. So he would say that he would practice in an arena and he would just randomly tell his team to kill the lights in the arena so that he would still be focused on the net and making that goal. Like, how do I still make this shot no matter what? He would practice with like an audience booing him with loud music so that he would know that my end goal, I'm focused. I'm laser sharp focused on this end goal. And it's something that throughout my career, and probably it's sharpened now more because the pandemic was really like somebody killing all the lights in the arena. And then I was like, wait, okay, what do we do now? But I had prepared my whole entire life for that pivot. Like, okay, everybody, they killed their lights in the arena. Okay, I do know one thing. What is my ultimate goal? To get this bottle into a woman's hand. I want to imagine a businesswoman coming home and having a glass of wine. I want to imagine a woman on her way down the aisle and she is celebrating all her moments with wifey. And how do I become part of their stories? So that was my goal, right? And then I just backed up from it. Okay, that's my goal, but how do I reach those women? How do I get to the bride, the new bride and soon to be bride in Memphis? How do I get to the businesswoman in Chicago? It was only through the phone, right? So what content, what type of assets, what type of creative, what's my marketing strategy, what type of program can I create to amplify our messaging so that these women see it and then they go to their stores and pick up wifey or go purchase wifey or whatever. And that was something that I was super intentional about when the world closed down. I was like, okay, everything is going to go through that phone. I need to figure out how to speak directly to those women in those different markets. What live interviews can I do? Because I think we were one of the brands that pivoted quickly before the larger brands because they're like huge cruise ships, so it's hard for them to turn around. We like a yacht, so we're like, oh, okay, the world is closed. All right, let's get these celebrities and do live one-on-one interviews with them. Let's run these type of sweepstakes or whatever. And we were so ready. And we didn't like budge. We didn't get scared. It was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? It was just so easy for us because we're entrepreneurs and we've been put into multiple positions where we had to work in the unknown. And once you work like that, and once you have that thought process and that approach to work, you can accomplish anything.
Thank you so much for sharing that with me. For our last question, before we close out, I know a lot of times, especially we as women, we as minority women especially, we might get the idea of, well, there's somebody already in that field, so I don't know if I'll pursue this. The idea of there's only so much space in spite of there being plenty of it. If I were somebody who was looking to get into the wine and spirits field, but I saw Wifey Wines, or I saw a competitor of yours, Black Girl Magic or Uncle Nearest, all of which are owned and operated by Black women, what would you say to me to encourage me to still pursue this in spite of somebody already being there, to let me know that there is in fact space for me in my business as well?
Yeah. What's so funny? I mentor so many women, and I'm constantly, if I'm out at panels or doing interviews, that is the number one question I get. I will give you 2 examples. Y'all know QVC, the shopping network. QVC has been around for centuries. Since your grandmother was young, it's around during our age group, just generations. It's been a generational brand, right? Tech has changed. The way we shop has changed. The way we consume products has changed. But QVC still is here and they still make revenue, right? They're not going out of business. They're not bankrupt or anything. If you go look in your local network, you can find the QVC channel still, right? So I say that as, that's a business plan that they stayed intentional about what they wanted to do and who their consumer base was. And then I always use the eyelash industry. There's in hair industry, so many young ladies and men that start hairlines, extension supply brands or whatever. There's so many. The only difference between your brand and someone else's brand is your story, your consistency, your need to win. That's the only thing. That's the only difference. If it could be 80 million brands in your space and in your lane, the thing that's going to make you different is your story and how you tell it and your consistent application to wanting to be successful. And that's it. So if you want to go into an industry that you feel like it's overly packed, there's so many industries that there's more than 5,000 brands, but people are competing with each other. There's a customer out there. There's a consumer group out there for you, someone that resonates with you, someone that just likes your product. They might like how it feels on their body. They just might like the way, the pricing. They might like your story and it resonates. But the difference the thing that differentiates you from anyone else is your story and your effort that you're going to put into your brand. So don't ever get like saddened and be like, oh, well, there are already 52 brands doing this. There's more than enough room for everybody. There's enough room. So start that business. Don't sit there and be hesitant and constantly thinking about, should you start today? Should you start tomorrow? Should you even do it? Start the business and just be consistent and be intentional and develop your story. Tell your story everywhere. People resonate. That's how a lot of the big brands out here have the consumer base that they have, because they have a story that people love, that they want to support, or they resonate with it.
All right. And before closing out, we've got the @ right there. Y'all can follow them on Instagram at DrinkWifey. But if we want to stay up to date on all things wifey wine, where can we check you guys out at?
Wifeybrands.com, or you can check me out on Instagram at Maddie Me. It's MADDIEMEY. That's me across all socials, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure that other people is because we wanted to put together a group of people who would walk in alignment. Many of us have individual interests. We are comprised of nonprofit leaders, corporate leaders, as well as business owners and entrepreneurs in the greater Baltimore region. And we have many different interests, in some cases competing interests, but we are aligned on one thing, and that is that Black people in our region and worldwide should have the opportunity to be successful and to thrive, and that some of the barriers that Black people face can be mitigated with advocacy. And so we wanted to put together this auxiliary group so that we could be a group of advocates aligned in the purpose of not only creating safe spaces for ourselves, but for our community as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for giving us that backstory and a little bit of information about you guys. And to know that, like you said, your end goal is to bring more success and to allow equal opportunities for Black people to thrive. I love that. So can you tell us, how will this, not organization quite, but auxiliary group, go about moving forward with the mission of supporting a pipeline for leadership positions in the Black profession? So whether that be through a series of events, maybe some programming, what can we anticipate from you guys, especially because you just got your start at the top of the year?
It'll be in a number of ways. One of the things that we're committed to is professional development webinars. We've actually already started that series. So I believe a month or so ago, we held a webinar on leveraging AI in Black professional spaces, which was well attended, but also really great learning opportunity to learn about how we can maximize the opportunity that this nuance and technology is presenting to start to close the racial wealth gap, to start to build knowledge bases in our community, and that we can take advantage of this trend of AI and the way it's showing up in the workplace. We have one coming up that's all about taxes, federal and state and local taxes, led by one of our auxiliary board members. And so we will continue to produce this content to give Black professionals and others who choose to join in as well the opportunity to just learn more about these topics, but to also learn about them from a lens of how they affect Black people unapologetically and specifically. So we'll do that. We also will launch a mentorship program for some of our members who want to reach back into the community and have the capacity and the bandwidth to do so, to share their expertise, to share shadowing opportunities, which is really important to us as well. In addition to that, one of the things I believe was a great impetus for us putting this group together is the fact that I just started in my role here at Associated Black Charities in January of 2023. And I found myself in an ecosystem of people who were very connected to one another and a little bit very frightened about being on the outside of that. But what I had was friends and allies and professionals who grabbed me by the hand and made sure that I was in the right rooms, made sure that my name was spoken in rooms, made sure that I understood who was who and who I needed to meet and know. And people are continuing to do that for me. And I think that that is another way that the Black Leadership Circle will show up for professionals who need that kind of mentorship, sponsorship, and support as they start to navigate opportunities that they are kind of pushed into, some ready for, some maybe just blessed and attaining an opportunity, but certainly one that will be easier to navigate with that level of support.
Okay. And so you talked about, like you said, this kind of being new to you, some of the program that you guys are doing. Do you have to work for Associated Black Charities in order to benefit from the work that the Black Leadership Circle is doing? I, as somebody who's on the outside, how can I benefit from this? How can I get involved?
Oh, absolutely not. So in fact, Associated Black Charities is really upholding the operational structure of this group, and that's it. The group itself right now consists of about 36 advisory council members, and they represent most of the organizations that we're familiar with across this region. Many of them are nonprofit organizations. Some of them are very high visibility corporate organizations. And then we have a number of venture capitalists, business owners who are in this region who are also part of the group. And so the group is not staffed or for people in relationship with Associated Black Charities, quite the opposite. Associated Black Charities, through my membership, gets the benefit of being a part of this group. So there are many things like our professional development webinar series that the general public can partake of, can participate in. There will be other opportunities that'll be member-based. And so we have planned to open general membership in April. We've pushed that back a little bit because we want to make sure we get it right. And we want to make sure we shore up something that is not only sustainable, but that is credible and that is outlined in a way that it will not only have staying power, but it will do the things that we set out to do, which is to create that pipeline, to create safe spaces, to create opportunities for us to know one another and to work together. And one of the things when we were putting the group together, we really resonated on is that there are a lot of professional groups like this, membership organizations. One thing that is different is that oftentimes you won't see collaborations across industry the way this is set up. So nonprofit leaders never always get the opportunity to kind of coalesce with, high-level entrepreneurs or people who are leading big corporate organizations, but the skill set is the same. Right? Like the level of expertise you need to do any of the work that I've just referenced is really the same and similar. And so we can all stand to learn from one another, to support one another, to help share our expertise. But even more than that, what we have identified and I think is commonly known is that when you are a leader, it is hard in and of itself. When you are a Black leader, you're going to face specifically different challenges. We all know across all of those sectors, funding is an issue, whether you're a nonprofit leader, whether you are navigating access to capital as a business owner, Black-run, Black-led businesses, Black-led organizations are some of the most under-resourced. That's a nuanced problem to Black people. Also, we walk the fine line of being advocates for the Black community, being advocates for Black people and their success, and also sometimes having to face the consequences of that advocacy. That is a fine line all of us as leaders who support and want the well-being of everybody, but also have a heart for Black people have to navigate. And we can do that together safely and advise one another. And so that's another reason that the Black Leadership Circle will be so important.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. So you just emphasized how important advocacy is, so much to the point at which where you want to take, a couple of bruises that you might get for doing it. For our last question, can you tell me or talk to me about the fact that a large part of your guys' mission is to be a catalyst for change by cultivating an environment of support, sponsorship, and alignment? What does that look like to you guys? And can you talk to us about that in a little more detail?
I think it really looks like having a collective voice. You go to other assemblies of groups of professional people and you see that, and it might just be an organic way that, because most leaders don't look like me, that when you congregate a room of leaders who have influence, who have resources, and who have authority, they tend to be rooms of older white men. And, while that has been maybe the status quo for some time, the landscape is starting to shift and change, and we need to make sure that our collective voice not only can push forward change, but can keep our communities at the forefront of that change, to make sure that when we're talking about access, we're considering Black people, that specifically here in Baltimore, where it's so important, where our demographics rely on the fact that Black people need to be successful for our ecosystem of work and society to be successful, that there are people in the rooms that are talking about Black people, willing to talk about the challenges our communities face because of structural racism, having the words to use to do so, and having the safety to do so. I think many times, and you've heard in the news recently about the vulnerability of Black people who dare to speak out, who dare to be advocates, who dare to lift up their communities. And it can be a very scary position to be in. And we are committed to being advocates, knowing that we're stronger when our voices are aligned and together. So it's one thing for Chrissy to step out and say something in advocacy. It's another thing for Chrissy and 35 of her closest friends who believe in the power of advocacy for the Black community to say it, and to say it arms locked. In safety with one another. And so that, I believe, is how our collective voice will not only amplify our community causes, but will create a safe space for us to be heard and for us to be considered, with the level of influence that we want to carry.
Wonderful. And then I know that you said membership isn't quite open to the public yet. We're definitely anticipating that. But for anybody who wants to stay up to date, get involved with, or maybe just even share it, maybe it's an ally that want to share some information about the Black Leadership Circle with those who they feel like could benefit from it, where can we stay in touch with you guys at?
So our website is blackleadershipcircle.org. You can also find us on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram and on Facebook, Black Leadership Circle, on all of those platforms. And we do have content. As I said, we've already started those professional development webinars that are open to everyone. If you tap into our website, you will see that in probably mid-June, we will open for applications for membership and open some of our additional programming that we're shoring up now. And so we want people to get connected. We want people to benefit from some of our leadership expertise, but also our experiences and what we can share to make sure that Black professionals have development opportunities to start to put themselves in position to be, at some point, we as leaders now need to be ready to pass the baton to the next generation of people to step into our places. And I think that's the type of sustainability we want to see the Black Leadership Circle to create.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out to speak with us today and share a little bit more information about the Black Leadership Circle. We are super excited to see you guys continue the work that you've already gotten started on. And just like I said, thank you for speaking with us today for our Black Business Matters Expo.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Black Business Matters Conference. Man, I hope you're enjoying everything that's happening today. We have had some fantastic content to help your business grow, but we want to get into something specific to your business that's all around us, and I know you're hearing about it, and it's digital marketing. But before we get into that, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Kevin Peck, also known as Impeccable, Vice President of Marketing and Technology for the Afro-American News Yes, Maryland's and the nation's oldest Black-owned media company for over 131 years, and we're very, very proud of it. You might say, wow. But wow is right, because how have we been able to navigate through this technology from when electricity just started back in 1821, and my great-great-grandfather was starting what we call now a media company, a newspaper, back in 1892, when reportedly less than 2% of African Americans or Blacks could read. That blows my mind every time I think of it. And we've been able to change as technology has changed. The AFRO has been able to stay in business. If you know the statistics about how hard it is just to make it through your first year in business, you would really, really settle back, get a pen, take some notes, and really, really, really perk up for this session. We're talking about digital marketing services. We've come all the way from the typewriter and whiteout and all of those other inventions that were great at the time, but now we're moving at the speed of light. And we have just partnered with a digital marketing company, a nationwide digital marketing company. And Peter Z is on the line with me. We're gonna have a conversation. We're not gonna try to make it a talk to you about. We're all in business to what? To solve a problem and to make some money, and hopefully to reach some business and financial goals that you've set for yourself. But along the way, the landscape has changed. Peter, welcome to the Black Business Matters Conference. We are excited about just our partnership and what we're going to do together here at the AFRO.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kevin, for having me, and I am excited as well. And congratulations on, over a century of being in business. You are right; it is hard just to make it past the first year, let alone 100 years. So that's quite an accomplishment, and I'm glad we can partner with you guys.
And we're gonna get right into it because everybody's time is money. We're talking about digital media services. You guys don't mind. We're at a conference, right? Let me just pull up a slide and see where we start. That's the wrong slide, right? Digital marketing services. I got to get this thing together. All right, here we go. Ta-da. Now the AFRO is now offering a full suite. Let me just take it back. We're always looking and growing and seeing what the present generation is doing and seeing what the technology that can help make our lives easier, and especially our customers' lives easier, and our lives at the AFRO easier. I mean, I like to call it tech sexy. That's my term. I've coined it. We got to stay tech sexy in our business, even when we don't understand everything. So a year ago, we did a pilot program with what we call the Digital Billboard Network. And it was just about this time. We launched it right here at the Black Business Matters Expo. And we spent a year, we looked at it, and we discovered that we only started with a small number, like 10 screens and 10 different prominent businesses throughout the Randallstown and Owings Mills area in Maryland. And what we found from the analytics that our digital billboards outperformed Facebook ads, outperformed Instagram ads, and it was amazing of what it did. And that brought us into the circle with Peter Z, just from his expertise and the things that he does in that space. And we said, you know what, the AFRO really needs, after talking to a lot of our clients, to be able to offer digital marketing services to our customers so that it can help, so they can concentrate on what they do best, Peter, which is run a business.
Yep.
So we're launching something new again, guys. We're now a digital marketing agency, which has our digital billboard network in it, but that is not it. So Peter, I'm going to run us this slide and we're going to have a conversation. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here, this first slide, it's
so
just,
what I see the AFRO now is capable of is you've evolved, right? So you have the print product, you have the indoor digital billboard product, and now you have your full suite of digital media services as well. So you have the ability to advertise on every single medium there is out there for your clients. So instead of just a newspaper and a print advertising, option, you are now a full marketing team and consulting agency for your customers, right? So it doesn't matter where they are in the journey of setting up their marketing plan or where their customer journey is taking them or how they want to guide it. You have the tools at your disposal to help them in any aspect of that journey at this point in time, which is fantastic, right? So every single product that you have works well together. It helps to increase the lift of the product so they get better ROI. And having one-stop shop, one company to be able to deliver all those products is the absolute best way to do it.
So we're going to briefly just touch on these because it is so, oh man, just our partnership. And guys, when you're in business, your strategic partners, they make or break you. They can take you to a new level by just thinking outside of the box. You can't do everything yourself. And if you don't realize that soon, you'll be out of business, burned out, and wondering why you bought yourself a job when you started your business. So as you can see up on the screen, we're going to offer website design, display geofencing, OTT. We'll go through a few of these things, but if any of these things resonate with you and you have no clue, we're going to Peter and myself are going to offer a free discovery call at the end. You reach out to us and we can just for free assess your digital landscape. We're going to have products like sales funnels in your product. Now, a lot of people said, Peter, to me, do digital billboards make a difference, right? Like what's the big deal and how are billboards effective? What have you found, or what do you say when somebody says that to you?
That's a great question, Kevin, because a lot of people think that way, right? So the digital billboard is one of the fastest growing mediums in the country right now. It's exploding all across the U.S. And the reason is it's brand awareness. So we like to think about it as think about when you hire a contractor to redo your kitchen, right? You want somebody that's going to come in there, give you a fair price, and knows how to do everything. So they can put in a foundation if needed. They can put in the appliances. They can change the roof and the floor. So that one company is really able to come in and say, hey, for $100,000, I'm going to give you the kitchen of your dreams, right? Absolutely. That's kind of like digital marketing at the same point. You need a solid foundation. You need brand awareness. You need to be able to, after that brand awareness, get your clients excited to check you out. So they go to your website, they go to your Facebook, they go to your Instagram. And how do you get them there, right? That's the trick. How do you get them to understand that you're even existing? That's what those digital billboards do. It's brand awareness. So it plays all over the community. It's hyper local focus, and it drives people to your Facebook and your Instagram and your website. So that's the nice thing about having the full suite of products now is just like when you're talking to that general contractor, you don't really care how much, the paint costs and the 2x4s cost, but you just want a beautiful finished product. That's what you're able to do. We're able to do here now. So when you're going down that customer journey of here I am, to check me out on Google, to go to my website, to go to the purchase, right? That's called that funnel that we were just looking at. You're able to drive your customer engagement and create that customer journey that you're looking for to get them to know you, research you, and buy from you. And that's what all these products do. So that digital billboard really helps with that brand awareness, so they even know you exist. And the more you're out there, the more they see you, the more they start to feel comfortable with you as your company. So then they're going to start looking at you and taking action to buy from you.
Right, because I remember in a conversation we had before we decided to do this partnership, you were saying it's top of mind advertising, because a lot of times people think you're going to just look at an ad and somebody's going to rush and call you. Sometimes that occasionally happens, but yeah, I mean, get into what is top of mind advertising.
Yeah, so think about it this way, right? So most of the people, small businesses to start with, referrals and word of mouth is their number one form of advertising, right? They do a great job. They deliver a great product. They know how to take care of their customers. So their customers tell other prospects. So it starts helping that brand awareness and that recognition and that referral type of business. So what I said back in that conversation was, hey, what happens when somebody just hasn't been to your business for a little while? They just stop talking about you. It's not a bad thing. It's just human nature, right? But when they see your ad back up on that screen, when they're at the gym or at the bar or at the brewery, wherever it may be, they start to think about you again. They start to talk to their buddies about you again. And that word of mouth and referral type advertising starts to spread again. So top of mind just kind of keeps you exactly that top of mind in their community. And when they're ready to make a purchase, they start to think, oh yeah, I remember Kevin's business. I got to reach back to Kevin and see what he can do for me. So that's how that top of mind works.
Absolutely. If you just tuned in, this is, of course, the Black Business Matters Expo, and I'm having a digital marketing service conversation with Peter. We're on live. The AFRO is now a digital marketing service agency. That's another suite of services that we're able to offer to our clients and our customers. We've taken the time as technology has evolved. People don't know it. We had afro.com before USA Today had their .com. We've always really pioneered in technology, and we're glad to keep moving forward because we've heard this, and I pulled up this organic versus inorganic, and we're talking through this pretty quickly, but I'm just trying to get some people to just hear some things that they may have heard or they may know, or this may be foreign to you for the first time. But when you hear the word organic, what does that mean? Whether it was organic marketing or traffic or advertising?
Sure. So think about organic. It is social media, right? So your Facebook, that's an organic way to get people to your website. Your website is actually organic as well. Putting up those indoor billboards, that's kind of an organic type of marketing. So it's something that's going to really get people to find you without a large expense, right? So you are doing everything, think grassroots marketing. You're doing everything you can to get exposure at the minimal cost there is, just to get the word out there so people know you exist. Going back to that brand awareness. Where inorganic, a lot of people say pay to play, right? You're really spending a lot of money on video. So if you do a pre-roll video, like on YouTube, before you want to watch a cool video, you have to watch an ad, right? So that 15, 30-second ad, that's kind of an inorganic way. Pay-per-click, where you're buying your name to be on the top of Google when people search for a plumber or a pizza restaurant or whatever that may be. Or if you can start advertising on Facebook or Instagram, that again would be inorganic because you're paying to play there, right? And that's a very effective way to get your name out there, to draw people to your business, and to create leads. In the organic side of that, think about it as when you first launch, you just want to tell everybody in the world that you exist, right?
Right, and your friends don't care. They act like they care, but they don't buy one thing.
No, it's not Field of Dreams. You build it, they don't come.
Right, absolutely.
You need some marketing, and you need people to know that you're out there. So and truthfully, you never stop doing either one. But during the course of that journey of where you are as a business and where your clients or prospects are, you're always doing both, depending on what your needs are, what the sales cycles are.
Everything is about marketing. If you don't believe it, when you see some of the biggest companies, you see them everywhere. You see them on social media, you see them on your television, you see them on billboards, you see them on bus stops, you see them anywhere that they can be. They want to be there so that you got the top of mind, and that they are always in your face. Because subconsciously, somewhere, even though I don't want a burger, I'm going to go to that place that has a yellow arch sometimes.
I mean, think about it. Who in the world doesn't know McDonald's exists? Yet they spend over $1 billion a year on advertising, and the bulk of that advertising is top of mind brand awareness. They're not pitching a special or something. Hey, we're running out of hamburgers. You better go down and get one now. It's usually a feel-good commercial with brand awareness. So when your kids are hungry in the back of the car and they're screaming at you, you're like, I gotta find those golden arches, right?
Absolutely.
All about marketing. That's why the largest companies in the world are constantly marketing.
So we're moving to be your trusted source for digital solutions. We're going to skip over this. We're not going to spend a lot of time. Most of you should have. If you don't have a website, please, you need one, because people,
you could be the junkiest business, and I'm not calling you junkie, but if your website looks impressive, it's just like it's a box you check, right? It's like, well, what's your website? And if it goes there and it looks like it is on the level, you've already given a perception that you're ready to do business. Now, if they go there and it still says under construction, that means that I'm a little shaky about this business because they haven't even gotten their own website together. And I know time. It's only 24 hours in a day. We're here to do that too. That'll be in our suite of services. We're gonna move. We're gonna keep.
We actually call that, Kevin, is basically your open sign on the internet. If you don't have a good open sign that says I'm here, your website, people can't find you.
Absolutely. I like that. You're open. So we'll be able to handle the management of the site and to even do updates and then even get you a site that performs well on the Google search. Who doesn't know about Google? That's an easy transition. Everything now, you ask them for everything. I mean, you just talk in your phone and you want to know, and you wonder how these lists and profiles come up. And if you don't have anybody managing this profile, you're not even going to show up on the list at all. So Peter, you've been telling me that a lot of your clients, this has been like a real marketing tool to really help them going just by making sure their Google business profile is managed correctly.
Exactly. So your Google business profile is so important because this is how people search for you, right? So 70% of searches on Google right now to find a business are done on maps. So imagine that, right? So
hold on, they're searching they're searching on maps for the business.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're not properly linked up with Google on the Google Maps and your address is off by a period or a comma and it's not consistent all the way through Google, they ding you down a little bit. So sure, if you're a mile away and you Google pizza place near me, hopefully you're gonna pop up, right? But if you're 3 miles away, somebody that's 4 or 5, 6 miles away is going to pop up ahead of you if your Google business profile doesn't match what Google is looking for. And here's a simple term. We say Google is the cookie monster. It wants to be fed all the time, right? So you got to put pictures up there. You have to have reviews up there. You have to respond to those reviews. Even in those reviews, you should be using keywords like, hey, brick oven pizza at Kevin's Pizza Place is the best. But once you stop feeding the cookie monster, it starts looking for other cookies from somebody else.
Is Cookie Monster short for algorithm?
Yeah, pretty much. So if you're not doing it every single month, posting 20 pictures, putting up reviews, just talking about your business, a different business is doing it, and they're going to go up ahead of you, and that's organic marketing at that point in time because you're just talking about your business online and doing all that cool stuff.
Absolutely. We've all seen this slide.
Oh, yeah. And
correct me if I'm wrong, before it used to just be physical locations. Is that right?
It did. So if you were let's say you're a plumber or a painter, right, and you don't have an actual business office, you couldn't do this Google business profile. So now Google has what's called a service area. So if you're a painter and you want to be found in a certain zip code or areas or counties, we can now create a Google business profile for you to be found in those service areas. As we know, a lot of tradespeople, windshield time they lose money, right? So they need to be working close to where their core business is. So that's a really cool thing that people don't even know exists. Some people, that Google service area helps with Google business profile now as well.
I love that. Guys, if you don't get anything else and you're a solopreneur or you're in the service business and you don't have a physical location, get your service address taken care of, and we can help you with it. You don't have to figure everything out. That's what we do. Sometimes, Peter, you were telling me you have your own business. I've had several businesses. You think you have to do every single thing in the business, or it's not going to be done right. And that will keep you from growing, and it'll keep you personally from growing because you'll go out. You know, I used to have hair before I started business.
Stop sleeping.
Very limited sleep. So that'll be one of the services in the suite. Of course, we touched on. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, I went too fast. We touched on social media management, which we've all pretty much heard of, but you got to have time to do it. And do you really have time? Absolutely not. What things that you do repeatedly that you really don't need to do, you need to give to somebody else. And you say, the budget might be tight, but you'll be surprised for less than what you would pay one person that Afro's digital media services, marketing services, and along with Peter's company will be able, because he's staffed up nicely. He handles clients all over the country. And that's why we went in with him, because he has the people who could actually do the posting, even help you with the design and some of the other things to really let you do what you do best. And that's what you've been trained, or the passion that you have in running your own business. So we're adding that. You talked earlier about pay-per-click.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know about you, Kevin. When I've had a couple of businesses myself as well, and I normally ended up working 70, 80, 90 hours a week on my business and in my business to get it launched and up and running. And partnering with a professional took me a long time to figure out that it saves me money in the long run, and it saves me time and headache in the long run versus trying to do it all myself. Because you're 3 o'clock in the morning, you're posting on Facebook and Instagram. It doesn't help you at 8 o'clock.
Right. No, because little do you know, the Cookie Monster wants to be posted or fed at a certain time. That's the best time for your business to post, but because you don't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just posting, you know what I mean? And with no strategy. And so you're just wasting time and also possibly money. So we've added pay-per-click. I'm trying not to make this a long conversation. We just wanted to let you know that we're here to help and that we can alleviate some of your digital frustrations.
Yeah. And I know we're running long, Kevin. So to talk about that, so you don't have to run through every single product, right? The goal is when you deal with a marketing company, you want to deal. There's a great guy out there that builds websites, right there. There's a great lady out there that does pay-per-click advertising. There's a great company that creates videos for OTT. But you need to have a partner that does it all, because you don't just want to do pay-per-click. You don't just want to do Facebook management. You just don't want to do videos. You need to create a journey for your prospects and your clients. And you need somebody that knows when to pull the trigger on which lever and at what time to get the best results. And if you're doing 10 different people doing 10 different things, they don't work together as a symphony, right? And you really need it to be orchestrated like a symphony. So your marketing just sings the whole way through to the very end. And that's what we're doing here now with the AFRO.
Absolutely. Now, this last slide I will touch on before we leave, and that was OTT. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, but connected TV. Let's just see. You got all of these different networks here, and you've been watching your favorite show, and advertising will just interrupt the show, and you can't skip it. You can't do anything about it. Talk to Peter. I was excited when I realized that your company was able to give us this technology to help our customers. Why don't you just kind of go into it? We'll end with this OTT.
All right.
Not OPP. Y'all remember that song? OTT.
Yeah, so OTT stands for over the top, so you're skipping the cable box, right? But we can produce a 15 or a 30 or 20-second video, full motion live action video that really grabs people's attention. And the cool thing about it is then we go out and based on what you're looking for, it could be a geographic area, it could be demographics as you're looking for. You can say, hey, I want 25-year-olds to 45-year-olds that have a college degree or don't have a college degree, have kids, don't have kids, whatever it is. We can put that together. It's kind of like keywords and demographics and geographics. and only play the videos to the people you want to kind of see them, right? But it goes on every single platform. So we don't say, hey, just do it on USA Today, or just do it on History Channel, or just do it on ESPN, or just do it on Hulu, or just do it on your phone. We cover all of the aspects, right? So we hit it anywhere people are looking at, connected video. They're on their phone, they're on the computer, they're on their TV at home. So we will show it everywhere that we possibly can. And it's cool AI analytics that run in the background to make sure that ad spend gets delivered to the correct person in the correct kind of demographic that you're looking for. And or we can go the opposite. We can say, hey, we only want to be on these channels at this time frame, so we can narrow that down as well. So you can be as broad as you want or as narrow as you want. And the cool thing is we take care of everything for you in the back end. And we give you reports that are real time. So literally the next day you can see where your ad played, how many people saw it, and what the results were. So it's very transparent, and that's important as well, Kevin, is to know constantly how your marketing dollars are basically being spent and what are you getting for them, right?
I always wanted to know how the local guy was just on my national national show. Like, how they get an ad there? And kind of now I know.
Yep.
You got some of them that are pre-roll that show up before the show starts, and you got some things that show up in the middle.
And that's why I think you should talk about the webinar. That's a great way for them to learn about all of it, right?
All right. Well, let me get to it. All right. Because we're running out of time. You guys got to go into the next session. And we just wanted to touch, we just kind of wanted to bring some things to your mind that maybe you've seen and you weren't sure how everything was working. But we at the AFRO, along with Peter's company, have dug into it, and we've taken the heavy lifting down. And like you said, the next step is the discovery webinar. Peter, you want to go into what happens on the discovery webinar?
Yeah, absolutely. And we do this generally via Zoom. It takes maybe 20, 30 minutes max. It could go longer if you have more questions or want to learn more about what we're doing. But really the goal of this is to kind of figure out, where are you now? What do you have a great website? Do you need help with that? Or what are your goals for the next 12 months? Do you have funding for that? What does that look like? What is your end goal when you start your marketing? When I think about it that way, right? We just said the symphony. So what we want to do is not say, hey, this is the best product for you. This is what you need to do. But let's look at your entire journey. Let's kind of play the piano and the sax and put the drums in there. Figure out what is going to be the best solution to get you to your end goal. And let's pull some levers and let's try some different things, because nobody's perfect, Kevin, right? Neither are we. We're not going to tell you, hey, this is the product that we know is going to work, because your area could be different than California, different than Michigan. It's different people looking. So, is there some trial and error there? Of course there is, right? So we're going to figure out what works for you, but we have all the tools at your disposal. So any kind of digital service that you're looking for, we can use it and put it into concert for you. So it truly is finding out what are your goals, how do we get there. We believe these are the best products that get you there. Don't worry about the graphics and the art. We're going to take care of all that for you and keep you up to date. And then we send, like I said, there's no cost for it. We're saying, hey, this is probably the best path for you. And we're not going to tell you on that call, because we're not going to know. We're going to have to sit back and kind of figure it out, and then come back to you and say, hey, we think this is the best plan. And we can kind of move it, backwards and forwards and kind of go wherever you want to go with it. So and the worst case scenario, Kevin, you figure out, I'm already doing everything right. I'm already checking all the boxes. I'm doing what I should be doing. They're like, hey, fantastic. Good for you. So there's really no harm in that.
Absolutely. This has been a great conversation for me, because even at the AFRO, when we launched the Digital Billboard Network, we put our own ad on the digital billboard, and people would come up to me and see within those 10 screens, Peter, there were over 100,000 eyeballs a month for these small businesses that were on the network, and it really made a difference to them. And we also give them a little report little anonymous geofencing, so they knew a little bit more about the customer, where they came from, where they went after they came, and we were able to provide the businesses who advertise on the digital billboard network some intel that they didn't otherwise have. So everybody, we're digital now, okay? The Afro still has a legacy product. We have a newspaper, you like to feel it, and it's important to a point, right? The cassette was important to a point. So was the CD, then it was the MP3. Now we're streaming. Well, I don't know what's coming next. We're going to do like that, and then something's going to appear in front of you, like a screen that just walks. It's the glasses, everything. Every day, technology is moving with this AI and everything else. Afro has always been here for you. We want to make sure that we're giving you the information that you need to be successful in the marketplace, as well as ourselves. We can't be the oldest Black business in Maryland and go out of business. So we have to take these techniques and apply them ourselves. I hope you enjoy some of the moments. I hope you take notes, even if it's just one thing. And if you need to schedule a discovery call, and it's some things that you've been meaning to do for your digital landscape of your business and getting your digital marketing services up, email me. This is my direct email, kp@afro.com. We'll get a webinar set up with me and Peter, and we'll see where we can help you. And at least you'll get some information and a game plan to help you navigate all of the new digital marketing services. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Kevin. It's been fun.
All the way from Colorado. Go Denver.
Same one in Denver. You know it.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everybody, and enjoy the Expo.
I hope you enjoyed it or enjoying the sessions. You didn't stop by the patio too long because the spirits are flowing. Can I have your attention, please? Everybody, anybody. Can I have your attention, please? We are back live streaming the hybrid, the 4th annual Black Business Matters Expo, powered by the Afro News. I almost said paper, but we are now a media company, 132 years, the oldest business. Welcome back. If you're watching us online, we are live at the Reginald Lewis in downtown Baltimore on the corner of Pratt Street. So, you know, we can't have any kind of expo without some entertainment. We have a young artist who's going to come before us. Y'all show her some love. Put your hands together for Alicia. I said it right. Come on up.
Hello, hello, everybody. How y'all feeling tonight? Oh, y'all ain't really with me. How you tonight? Hey, I feel absolutely honored to be here, y'all, at the Afro Expo, y'all. It is amazing to see just Black people come together and Black businesses. So I'm absolutely honored as a young Black woman and as a young artist to be here. So listen, y'all, we're going to get into some songs. We're going to sing a little bit, dance a little bit, maybe feel a little bit. I don't know if y'all going to cry, but these songs are very, very just, it means a lot to our every day-to-day life if you really listen to the lyrics and what they mean. So we're going to get into it. Y'all with me? Y'all going to rock with me? All right. Oh, okay. See, listen, I love the energy. That's right. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Ooh. Can we turn the track up just a little bit? Yeah, yeah. Oh. Listen, y'all. Tired of broken tree glass, not getting no ass unless the baby sleep. But even then feels like we're trying to creep. Tired of paying taxes, sending emails and faxes. Tired of crooked cops, tired of Black people saying the crime don't stop. I wanna go to a place where lovers go, do the things that lovers do, no stress. A sweet caress from me to you. I wanna do the things we used to do, say the things we used to say, just let every day. Oh, far away from here, far away from here, far away from here. Just hop in a taxi cab, pack a bag, get away fast. Far away from here, far away from here, far away from here. Just jump in a taxi cab, pack a bag, then get away fast. Tired of being a waitress, tired of living so weightless, tired of crooked cops, tired of Black people saying that crime don't stop. I'm tired of living on my own and not giving enough back for me, oh, for me. I wanna go to a place where lovers go, do the things that lovers do, no stress. A sweet caress from me to you. I wanna do the things we used to do, say the things we used to say, just say, oh, every day, far away from here. I wanna go far, far away from here. Go with the taxi cab, pick a bag, then get away fast. Far away from here, far away from here, oh, far away from here. Just jump in a taxi cab, pick a bag, get away fast. Yeah. Can we turn the track up just a little bit more, y'all? Now listen, I know we in here together, so can we just put our hands together like this? Can we just clap, 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 clap? Hey, I know that's right. Listen, we're going to have fun. It don't matter what's going on. We're going to have a good time. Oh, far away from here, far away from here. Let's go far away. Hop in a taxi cab, pick a bag, and get away fast. I see you. Far away from here, far away from here. We gotta go far, far away from here. Pack a bag and cab, go away far. Y'all ever felt like that before? You just want to pack a bag, go on your vacation. You've been working so hard. I know I feel that way sometimes. Sometimes life gets overwhelming. But sometimes we gotta find that space. We gotta find that place where we can just escape. Am I right? Hey, far away from here. I gotta get far, far away from here. I'll be in a taxi cab, pick a bag, and get away fast. Ooh. Thank y'all so much. I really, really appreciate y'all. Now listen, if you are happy to be here right now at the Black Expo, can I just hear y'all make some noise? Hey, I love it, I love it. So listen, y'all, like I said before, these songs are very, very touching to the heart if you really just think about the words and what they're saying. You know, a lot of times how we experience things as Black people and just people in the world, listen, it gets hard. We work hard, we work super duper hard, and sometimes we have to overcompensate for a lot of things. So this next song is gonna be about that, but also just taking your time, taking some time for yourself, you know, and just really taking care of yourself, and that's important. So that's gonna be this next song, and we're gonna try it. All right, let's do it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, I know it gets hard sometimes. I know it gets hard sometimes. Ooh, sometimes the days get so long. A cup of coffee just to keep you strong. You're in rush hour and you're late. So many things happen in a day. So many things on your mind. Yeah. And you feel like you have no time. But you want to take some time to get away. It's your life. You gotta do whatever it takes. You gotta take time and get away. Free your mind and fly away. Oh, you gotta take time and get away. Free your mind and fly away. And sometimes the days seem so long and everything is going wrong. Sometimes it seems like things won't change, and you want to get away. Hey, and you're in your CEO suit and passing out business cards to whoever and who. You want to find a place to escape and free your mind. You gotta do whatever it takes. Oh, we gotta take time. Can y'all catch that? And get away, and free your mind and fly away. It's important, y'all. You gotta take time and get away. Free your mind and fly away. Can y'all catch that? I see you right here. She was lipping the words. She was saying it a little bit. Now listen, can y'all relate to that chorus? If you can, just say yeah. If you feel like you gotta free your mind sometimes, let me hear you say yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Listen, y'all. You gotta write it, do it, say it, prove it, do it. Ha. You gotta write it, say it, do it, say it, prove it. Ooh, sometimes you gotta write it, say it, do it, and prove it. Oh, sometimes you gotta say it, write it, do it, say it, and prove it. Oh, we gotta take time and get away and free your mind and fly away. Can y'all sing that chorus? Take. Oh, y'all better sing. Get up. Oh, y'all better sing. Take. See, we can always sing. Fly away. One more time, say, take time. Yeah. And get away. Free your mind and fly away. Y'all better sing. Take time and get away. Free your mind and fly away. Everybody loves the sunshine. Y'all know that song. Everybody loves sunshine. Yeah. Everybody loves the sunshine. And everybody loves sunshine. sometimes. Thank you all so much. My name is Alicia. I'm honored to be here with you all today. You can find me on all platforms at ELYSCIA_sings. I'm going to say it one more time if you want to support an artist, y'all. ELYSCIA_sings. I love and appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Give her some love, y'all. She brought the energy. Take time, get away. Mic check. Listen, the system is not at a concert hall, guys. We here for business, but that control and that voice, I don't know if y'all heard, if you could feel it at that level, and the energy and the love she has for the art, that's the kind of passion you got to have for your business. Welcome back to the second half of the 4th annual Black Business Matters. We are live and hybrid at the same time. So we streaming, y'all. With more people streaming, shout out to everybody watching from all over the world, Africa, and all the other states. We love you and thank you for thinking about Black business. We have some announcements from Lenore. What you doing? Is that the dance you was
Making
doing?
sure I don't fall off the stage.
Right. You don't want to have it beyond. Anyway.
No. Again, another shout out for Alicia. Season 25 of The Voice. She represented Baltimore, Maryland on The Voice. Her coach, I think she said, was Reba McEntire. So she's famous. So we're so glad to have her here, and you are phenomenal, outstanding. Listen, we have some other people that we want to thank. I really want to thank all of our sponsors, some of whom are here, some of whom are not. But again, this event would not have been possible without them. And so I want to thank TEDCO for all they do. They've been a partner of ours for several years. TEDCO, yes. And so hopefully you get a chance to stop by their table and find out what they do and the opportunities they have for Black people in tech. Of course, you heard earlier from Chase, from JP Morgan Chase. Again, thank you so much for your support. International Franchise Association, David, thank you so much for being here, for your support. PNC Bank, who you're going to hear from a little bit later. They're here, always a great partner of ours. Thank you so much, Ramsey and team, for your support. Giant Food is not here, but they are a sponsor, and so we want to shout out to them for their support. Security Plus Federal Credit Union, of course, thank you. They had a great presentation upstairs, and so again, thank them for their support. Also a sponsor, but not here this evening, Associated Black Charities, one of our long-standing partners. They do a lot of great work in the community. I'm sure you all know Chrissy Thornton and Associated Black Charities. And the United Way of Central Maryland, they're also a partner and a sponsor of this event tonight. And I don't want to leave out Maryland Live and the Cordish Company, and for all they do. We've all been through there. It's one of the top tourist locations, destinations in the state of Maryland. So we thank them for partnering with us. So let's give all of our sponsors a round of applause. So glad to have them partner with us. They each understand the mission, the assignment, and that is to do all we can to inform, educate, and support Black-owned businesses. Now, we have a couple of events coming up. Hopefully when you came in, each of you got one of these cards. If you didn't, we'll make sure that you get one on your way out. And so Juneteenth, because it is a real federal holiday now, on June 19th, we will be sponsoring or hosting our second annual Juneteenth celebration. Tickets are available on afrotix.live, but we are honoring Dr. Benjamin Chavis, who is a civil rights activist in his own right, but he's also the president and CEO of NMPA. Bobby Henry is the chairman of the board of NMPA, which, if you don't know what that is, that's the National Newspaper Publishers Association, otherwise known as the Black Press Association. And then Dr. Thelma Daly, just a force in her own right, educator and community activist. And then the Root Branch Media Group, they're doing great things with young people coming into the media space. And so that's happening on Wednesday, Juneteenth, on June 19th at the Center Club. Again, go online, scan the QR code on the card, afrotix.live, for more information. And then later in the year, on August, we believe, we will be having our first Who's Who in Black Baltimore. There's a lot of Who's Who in Black Baltimore in this room tonight. So what you can do is go online and submit who you want to nominate for Who's Who in Black Baltimore. That information is also on the card. So if you did not get one of those cards, we'll make sure that you get one before you leave. We have a lot of things going on. The AFRO is always doing a lot besides publishing newspaper in print and online. We host several events throughout the year, and we're so glad that you're a part of this one. All right, those are my announcements.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the sessions. And how about the drinks? Okay, all right, just checking. I know online you missed it. It was some great liquor. Oh yeah, it's $200. That's going to be given away by Security Plus. If you have a business card still, drop it in that box for the 200. All right, listen, I met Susan Dawkins, and she was networking, which I'm gonna put your card in there, Susan, with me. And you know what her tactic was? She was lost. She said, I'm lost. And she met everybody. So for those who are shy, sometimes people are shy in business. She pulled the I'm lost line out. And before you knew it, we had connected. And listen, people, if you don't want to give people your number, don't network. Stop being phony. You know how people give you the card and it ain't really the card? It's not really the number. If you really want to connect with Black people who do business, give them your real number. If you don't, tell them you don't want to connect with them. Let's just keep it 100 with each other. Anyway, what we got next coming up? I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox.
That's all right. I believe we're about to talk to United Way. You're going to bring them up and talk to them. Are they here?
United Way.
Wayne, yes, I believe Wayne is here. Wayne Young. I saw her earlier.
She's still upstairs.
She's upstairs on the terrace.
She might be still upstairs. We're going to keep it moving.
We will keep it moving, and when we see Wayne, we'll call her up then. I have the pleasure of introducing and bringing up one of our sponsors. Ramsey Harris is a Senior Vice President. This is the longest title, so this is going to take me 5 minutes. He's a Senior Vice President of Greater Maryland Market Manager, Community Development Banking, Corporate Responsibility Group, and Regional Diversity and Inclusion Council Chair. Woo! All right, come on up, Ramsey, and let us know why being a partner.
I'm gonna sit down for Ramsey.
Yeah. I mean, the chairs are here, so. Okay,
no,
let me just tell you something, Ramsey.
I'm gonna sit down.
Ramsey's a preacher, and so I'm gonna be very close to the microphone.
Okay, well, let's stand. We're gonna stand together. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Now I don't know if y'all tired or if that's some of the libations or what, but I said good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right, it's a pleasure for us to be here to support this wonderful expo, the 4th annual of the AFRO newspapers for Black Business Matters. On behalf of PNC and my colleagues that are with me today, raise your hands, colleagues. All right, we have Mr. Philip Allen. Stand up, Philip. He's one of our business bankers, business development officers. We have Mr. Gerard McDaniel, who's also a business development officer. Mr. Larry Brockington, who's one of our lenders, our community development lenders. Mr. Frank McNeil, who is right there taking pictures. He's our community development officer, and the glue that keeps our team together, Miss Angela McFadden, our administrator. And so I want you all to know who their names are and faces with the names, because we're here to network. We're here to connect. We're here to just share with you what we're really committed to doing at PNC as it relates to really driving economic development opportunities for our communities. My title is long, but I'll tell you the title, is not longer than the work. We are committed to making what we generational impact in Baltimore and throughout the state of Maryland through our community development and economic development initiatives. We focus on 3 key areas that I think is really relevant and important to the reason why we're gathered today here at the Expo. We focus on really working with developers for a nonprofit to create more affordable housing opportunities in the city. We're focused on economic development initiatives with a very strong and very proud focus on with Black and brown entrepreneurs. And so today, as you're networking and mingling, come on over to our table so we can share with you the dedicated resources and services and products and technical assistance and one-on-one consultation and advisement that we have allocated and directed specifically towards helping Black and brown entrepreneurs to enjoy longevity in entrepreneurship. We want to see our businesses stay in it for the long run and be successful long term so that they can empower their families, create generational wealth, and even pass down the business to the next generation. How many business owners here are in business more than one generation? Raise your hand. That's my point. And that's nothing to be ashamed of, but we are here to help ensure that you have the tools and the resources to be able to pass that, if it be your desire, pass that business down to the next generation. Because how are we going to create generational wealth? How are we going to bridge the generational wealth gap? We're going to do that primarily through entrepreneurship and home ownership. That's why we're focused on affordable housing initiatives, first-time home ownership, home buyer education. That's why we're focused on economic development, really empowering Black and brown businesses to be successful long-term. And that's why we're also focused on what we call community service, philanthropic endeavors, providing charitable grants and other resources to organizations so that, again, they have the tools and resources necessary to grow and to scale and to collectively for us to make an impact together. So I'll stop there because I get excited and passionate about the work that we're doing. Again, stop by our table. And also for the virtual audience, you can go to www.pnc.com/minority business or pnc.com/community development banking to learn more about some of the initiatives that I spoke of today. And lastly, and I leave this best for last, I'd be remiss if I did not again thank Dr. Tony Draper, the publisher of the AFRO. Yes, Executive Director Lenora. Yes, and the staff, my good brother here, impeccable. All right, and all of the staff of the AFRO, we really are proud of the partnership. We're looking forward to doing many more great things together. And shameless plug, if I may, and I know my 2 minutes is way up.
Pastor.
I was so honored that the AFRO wrote a phenomenal story about me and my personal and career journey. This past, I think, newspaper that came out last week or this week. So, check that out if you want to learn a little bit more about me. And I am a pastor, but I'm also single. And so if, in fact, you really want to learn more about me, I am taking applications. God bless you and have a good evening.
Ramsey. Oh, give it up.
Give it up for Ramsey Harris.
Look,
he never disappoints.
Listen,
he never disappoints.
Listen, when you got the moment, listen, it might not be in the room, but it might be online.
That's right. There's a virtual audience out there.
Ladies, you heard that title. You heard the title, ladies. Okay. You got some money. Anyway. I'm sorry. Before you go on, I spoke about Susan. Susan, stand up real quick. Susan's a little shy, but she helps businesses get certified. So, when you don't like to do the paperwork, talk to Susan.
Talk to Susan. All right, Susan. Thank you. It's been a great evening. Thank you again so much. We have one final thing to do, and I'm going to bring back to the stage the CEO and publisher of the Afro-American Media Company, Dr. Francis Tony Draper.
This mic that doesn't pick up too good is my mic. Okay. All right. So let's thank Lenore and Impeccable for leading us in this 4th annual Black Business Matters Expo. We thank you for that. Thank you all for hanging in there, right? Some of you probably thought you were coming to a reception and we kept you for 3 hours, but I hope you found that it was beneficial. I know you did. I saw you out on the terrace. Y'all get that later. All right. I want to invite our panelists up. You all come on. You know who you are. You all come on up, Dr. Lance, Drew, Dr. Nia. So you can sit wherever you're comfortable. Come right on. I thought I saw Dr. London earlier. He was right Yeah. Oh, and there's still food over there, so come on up. Come on up, come on up. All right, so we have 30 minutes to do this panel. You already know that that's not enough time to do justice. You'll see why in a minute. I'm going to ask each of our panelists to introduce themselves. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves this way. They're going to give us their name. They're going to give us 3 things they want you to know about them or their business. Just 3. And I'm going to model it for you. Okay, I'm going to model it for you. So my name is Frances Tony Draper. I'm the CEO and publisher of the Afro-American newspaper or media company. Here are the 3 things I want you to know. We want your news. This is all number 1. We want your news and information. Send it to editor@afro.com. Y'all got it? We need your news. That's number 1. Number 2, we need your support. We want you to subscribe at afro.com. $40 for digital for 1 year. That's less than the cost of 2 Uber Eats. Number 1, what did I say? We need your news. Number 2, we need your subscriptions. Number 3, you can get a free newsletter also at afro.com. Those are the 3 things I want you to know. That's it. All right, we're going to start right down here with you, Drew. You have a mic there?
All right,
and I hope it's better than this one.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Drew Hawkins, and I'm the CEO of EduCore Sports and Entertainment. We provide financial education programming for pro athletes and entertainers. We support their efforts in a variety of different ways and work with them to ensure their long-term success, both financially with generational wealth transfer and the understanding of how their businesses work and finances work and mental health works throughout their journey and post their journey.
Tell us 3 things, Dr. Banks.
I'm Dr. Nia Banks. I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon and the owner and CEO of the Art of Balance Wellness Spa. We are the best and happen to be Black-owned luxury spa in Baltimore. We're located in the Ritz-Carlton Residences. I'm a single mom of a fabulous, almost 8-year-old free little girl. And our business model is memberships. We are selling a lifestyle of self-care. Alicia already said the rest for me, so the rest of the time I'll be quiet. When you can't fly away, you can come to the spa.
Okay. Neither one of you all told us how to get in touch with you, but we'll get back with that. You'll tell us. Yes. Is that working?
Dr. Lance Leonard. There you go.
All right.
Dr. Lance Leonard, President and CEO of Big City Foods, trading as the Carolina Kitchen where you get your chicken and much, much more. Okay. Basically, one of the things I can tell you about myself, I'm totally driven, and I'm driven to create a vehicle, if you will, to share with others. And that's why I got into the restaurant business. I was initially with the school to be a dentist, and then got into marketing, became very good at marketing.
You almost at 3. One more.
Well, I'm gonna go to 14. I closed 3 times like a Baptist preacher.
But
Okay,
I'm
no, I'm just messing with you. I'm talking. Okay,
and I'm gonna take an offering and
so
like a Baptist.
So basically, we opened a restaurant here. That's one of the things I want to say. Here in Owens Mills, Maryland, right in Owens Mills, the Carolina Kitchen. 2 months from opening. Also, I have a new seafood restaurant in Atlanta, Maryland, Bowie, Maryland. And third, I have a New Orleans style restaurant that's opening in Upper Marlboro. So that's 3 things so far.
3 great things. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am.
And thank you for such a good sense of humor too. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Nicholas Fletcher. I am the program director of Baltimore Means Business. We are a technical assistance program that supports small businesses throughout the DMV area and Maryland, specifically here in Baltimore. My 3 things, number 1 is please spread the word about us. I know there's some other technical assistance programs here in the room. So point number 2 is let's partner, let's work together. There may be some businesses in our network that can use your help and support, and vice versa. Our program is through Morgan State University. Anyone out there ever heard of Morgan State University?
Yes, sir.
Go Bears.
Thank you very much. So in addition to supporting the Afro, please continue to support Morgan State, whether that's financially or just talking about the great things that are happening there on campus. And lastly, actually that was all 3. Support Morgan, let's network, and let's drive small businesses, and please spread the word about BMB.
All righty, thank you so much. So, I have so many questions I want to ask you. Let me let the audience know a little bit about the format. These are phenomenal panelists. Each of them really could take more than 30 minutes to tell us so much wisdom. But we're going to spend about 30 minutes hearing from them and then get your questions ready. We want to give you an opportunity to ask them questions as well. Let me start with you, Mr. Fletcher. Working with small business owners, other than having access to capital, we know that's a big one. Can you describe the biggest mistake that you see small businesses or business owners make, like across the board? Are there any general things that you see us doing and that would, I hate to use the word mistake, they might be opportunities, but things that you see that we could either prevent or do differently across the board?
Absolutely. A lot of small business owners are challenged and they spend so much time working in their business, they don't work on their business. So what that really means is making sure that there's time. That the young lady sang about, ourselves earlier, take time. As business owners, we have to take time for our business as well as ourselves. It is about developing your ecosystem. Programs like Baltimore Means Business were born out of entrepreneurship research that stated one of the key differences between businesses that work and don't work. And we all know the general statistics around entrepreneurship and business owners. It's which businesses have that lender in speed dial, which businesses have that faithful accountant that can help keep the books right. So when PPP opportunities or grant opportunities come out, they're able to go and leverage it. How many of them have individuals in their background that they can trust to help drive their business? So it's those two things, what's your ecosystem and making sure you're taking the time to be strategic and thinking short and long term for your business.
Thank you so much. That was really helpful. Dr. London, I just can't imagine all of the staffing and HR challenges that a business like yours, and this is unsolicited plug. Your food is good too. You're welcome. But how do you attract and retain top talent? And what do you look for in potential team members to ensure that they align with your business values and goals?
Well, today things have changed, like hairstyles change, clothing styles change. The way we recruit new potential team members, and I do call them team members because they don't work for me, I work for them. I work to set an example for them. I work to show them if I can do it, you can too. But when I use social media, it is some job services that I reach out to, but I try to do it as cost effectively as possible. Then when I get people in, I build a culture, if you will, to let them know that when you work for us, this is not something where you just have a job. You work with the potential that one day you can own a part of this business. Does that make sense? So it's not just for me. I work, and I say this all the time, my major goal is to create 100 millionaires. And some people ask why, and the reason why is if I create 100 millionaires, if ever something goes wrong with me, I got 100 people to borrow money from, okay? And then also, I create 100 millionaires. My father told me through helping others get what they want, you'll get what you want. Does that make sense? And at the end of the day, if I create 100 millionaires, then what am I? Hopefully a billionaire. Thank you.
All right. Do you have your 100 yet?
I have 7 so far.
All right. 8 sitting right here. All right. Thank you so much for that. Let me ask you this, Dr. Banks. What do you wish? What do you really hope that you would have, that you know now, that would have really helped you to know when you started out your business? I don't know if, let me rephrase that question. What do you wish you had known when you were just starting, and how would that knowledge have changed your approach, or would it have changed your approach?
I was speaking to a young lady today who is interested in dermatology and then opening a chain of med spas, and I told her that I think that the MBA is super important. I'm an MD and I'm an MD PhD. PhD was fantastic, taught me how to think, but didn't teach me how to run a business. I think that the knowledge that you get from an MBA or an executive MBA or one-day MBA, there's a lot of programs out there, such as yours, that help you learn about systems. And what we need to do is when you have your business, we are often starting from a passion, and we have to figure out how to make that passion sustainable and how to make it profitable. You're going to need systems so you can get out of your business and work on your business. Most of my relationships that keep us going at the Art of Balance Wellness Spa relationships. relationships with my insurance broker, relationships with my banker, relationships with my accountant, relationships with our HR specialist. These are relationships that I have to foster, and therefore I'm not in the OR. Therefore, I'm not in the business because I'm working on the relationships. So I would say that the one thing that I would have liked to know is I would have liked to have that MBA background starting out. And you want to do that when you have the energy to get these businesses started.
That's really good advice. Thank you so much. Let me go to you, Drew. Now, Drew Hawkins didn't say this, but he is also the chair of the board of the Reginald Lewis Museum. Let's give him applause for that. He's chair of the board right here of this museum and does a fantastic job. We celebrate board members of nonprofits, but really their job is to do what? Come on, y'all say it all together. He's a master fundraiser, and as a chairman of the board, I'm sure he has to lead by example. And so, which brings me to this question. We've all heard that term, let's use other people's money, right? When it comes to funding business growth. So what advice do you give to your clients who are new entrepreneurs about securing investments from others? So we're talking about equity rather than debt.
First of all, I want to thank you all and commend you all for this program tonight and hosting it here in the House of Reginald F. Lewis, and for the years of success that you have had leading an amazing publication. That question is so paramount. You know, when you think of those in sports and entertainment, you know, we've got a great example with Walt Williams here today. A lot of times people think, you know, they make these huge sums of money, which they do. And they've got folks that are consistently coming at them from the time they are drafted. You see what they make, that name goes up on the board, and that continues to stay with them throughout the time that they enter in their careers. And now we've got this challenge with these 3 new initials called NIL, name, image, and likeness, where the money is now coming to them at the high school level. And so as they get into their craft of, you know, focusing on their sport, they're often approached with having a lot of business opportunities that come their way, whether it's things that they want to do themselves, they meet somebody out, they're traveling, and they've got an opportunity to go in a variety of different directions. One of the big things that they have at their disposal while they are so relevant in their sport is their brand and being able to utilize their name and their reputation while it is so valid and consistent while they're playing their game. And during that period of time, you know, for them to get the support, for them to get educated on going into this business, and then really getting people that can provide them with the insight and wisdom as it relates to the best sources and opportunities to utilize from a financing perspective as it relates to what they want to do. You know, we're seeing more examples now of athletes that are becoming a lot more successful, but they're taking the time, they're doing the diligence. It's very challenging while they're in that sport to go and get that done while they're focused on all the things that are connected with their day-to-day. And when it comes to financing, at that particular juncture, being able to utilize their network, being able to utilize the situation of what they're coming into from that business opportunity that's there, and making a prudent decision related to not having to necessarily put their capital up front, but being able to utilize so many of the resources that are available and around them. You know, they've got such a strong currency while they're there and their names are relevant that translates into large dollars. And, you know, a really good example of a company that's here based around the corner and a basketball player that, you know, we all know really well, just received $75 million not long ago from Under Armour based on utilizing his currency in negotiating that deal. And that translates into a lot of what these individuals have an opportunity to do from the standpoint of capitalizing their business and not necessarily having to put their resources up front.
Thank you so much. And so, Nicole, give me the time when we need to transition to the audience questions. But I'm going to start back down this way, Drew. So I'm going to ask you this next question as well. You went from being a senior executive in a fairly large business to being the owner of your own. You know, and when we say small business, I don't like the term either, impeccable, but by the SBA's definition, you know, you have under 500 employees and under, I forgot what the number is, it's probably $50 million. You're a small business. And a lot of times when people think small business, they think micro businesses. So there's a lot of support for micro business, but not a lot of support for small business. You know, you're trying to get to that $10 million mark you're still small business. You get to 25 million, you're still small business. So I want to talk to Drew a little bit, having been a corporate executive in a large business and then transitioning to being a small business. Were there differences? And if they were, what were the lessons learned?
Whew, differences. That's an understatement.
I know that could take probably the rest of-
Understatement. And so, you know, waking up and knowing you've got a group of people that support you, knowing you've got resources to get marketing done, knowing that you've got a business plan that you want to get approved in a budget, and you're going to need $15 million for the year to be able to get that done, and being able to pitch and make your argument for that to happen. And as long as you deliver, everything's going to be good. Well, all of a sudden, you go from having that huge bank and those resources to now it is on you. And so that assistant that you had that scheduled this and did that, and having a management team that supported all your efforts, you wake up in the morning as a new business owner, and you were looking at the assistant, the management team, the marketing team, the sales team, the execution team, and everybody that's connected and related to that. And so, so many examples have already been articulated tonight as it relates to, being able to get that start, understanding your business, realizing what it's going to take and the resources that are going to be needed to get that done, the time that's going to be needed to get that done. I mean, it was a huge wake-up call. And there were things that I was anticipating and expecting, but there are things that just from a resource standpoint and support standpoint that you take for granted. You now are responsible to make payroll for your employees every other week. You now are responsible to make sure that the licenses are set up and that you've done the banking functions and the accounting functions and getting all the right people around you. And a lot of times these are things that you typically take for granted because working in a larger structure that's provided for you by the individuals that are in various other roles there.
Thank you. Dr. Banks, let's stay with that theme because you're a medical professional and practitioner, and you transitioned from that to being a business owner. What would you say your biggest challenge was or is in that transition?
Challenge for us, I'm a surgeon. So surgeons are trained to be very regimented. Things are done a certain way. I trained at Hopkins, and Hopkins is almost militaristic in how we train surgeons, which I greatly appreciate. But the spa industry is not that. So I think the hardest thing for me has been transitioning from being a business owner and employing nurses and front desks to employing massage therapists and estheticians who are artists. And it's a labor intensive. And then we've had a lot of change with COVID. So we've had to make some adjustments. And so that's been adjustments in myself and what expectations are, but also systems, and that we have a pipeline of massage therapists because they turn over. And that's just part of the business. So understanding that. But I would say when you're in business, first they say don't quit your day job. So I still operate. I'm still a surgeon. But at some point when you're in small business and you want that to be your main, you want it to grow and you want to be sustainable, you do have to burn the ships. You have to know that this is where I'm going to take care of my family from. You have to take it seriously. You have to put the time in. You have to do the work. And you have to make some really tough decisions to make sure that you can eke out what you need for your family, also take care of your employees. And if you enjoy building something for yourself, if you enjoy creating spaces where people can come to work and feel fully appreciated, and that's one of the things I enjoy most, I think, about being a business owner, is creating spaces where men and women from all backgrounds, all colors can feel like they're fully appreciated, they can fully contribute. And that when you come into the spa, you don't have to worry about all the questions when you come into the spa. As either an employee or as someone who is a guest, that we have removed. So you can come and just relax. And the therapist come and just be their best selves.
You make us all ready to go to the spa. So thank you so much. Dr. London, I'm really curious about this because a lot of times in small business, we get started. Yours was a startup, but we have difficulty scaling the business, growing the business and scaling the business. And I heard in your introduction that you're getting ready to open or just recently opened additional locations in different geographical places. Tell us about that. How do we do that? How do we scale? How did you go from a startup to making gazillionaires?
Well, from your mouth to God's ears. What I'll say is this, to scale is very difficult in any business, but especially the restaurant business or the food industry because it's so delicate. Um, One of the things I can say to you, some people say it's an overnight success, but I've been doing this for 31 years. So over that time, I've made a lot of mistakes, but the good news is the setback, as my man Willie Jolly always says, is just a setup for a comeback. So the only way you can fail is to stop doing what it is you believe in. And I just never gave up. I just kept going. It's so sensitive. Now, to scale in this business, in any business, you got to first build a culture of belief around you with the people, the team you surround yourself with. And then with that culture, you got to create systems. Systems are so precise and twice as nice. So whether you're there or not, the business will continue to function as if you were there. Because how can I be in Dallas, Texas, and be in Suitland, Maryland at the same time? I can't. So I have to trust and believe in the individuals that you lead with your business, that they're going to respect and treat it as if it was theirs. So that's why I build in my systems a family, if you will, and a culture that I developed to let them know this is not about me. This is going to happen without me. It's going to happen without you. You know, I'm not the opportunity. The Carolina Kitchen is the opportunity. And with that being said, you know, over time, it'll start to spread. You with me? But just key people. You pick one wrong person, it can destroy your business. You know, you have to vet very closely whoever you let into your business to allow you to actually, you know, grow. Because if you pick that wrong person, it's going to be a setback that you're going to have to fix.
Thank you. Very wise. And let me, this last question to you, Mr. Fletcher. There are a lot of people. How many people in the room have what you consider it was a startup business? It was a, you know, you started someplace, your kitchen counter, your basement, somewhere. It was, you know, a startup business. So you give a lot of counsel in your program to people who want to start a business. Can you just tell us some of the complexities of that? What do we need when we say, I want to start this business, and so many businesses fail in what, the first year or two? Yeah. That's the same statistic for some marriages, but it's a different, I don't know. But anyway, what do you need to be successful in that startup? Dr. London just told us a few things. What else would you add?
One of the things I would add, and I talk to a lot of the students at Morgan State. I primarily work with master's level students, MBAs, but even the undergrads, and it's similar to the point you made, Dr. Draper, to the question of learn on someone else's dime. That's the greatest foundation to start, if you can. Learn how those contracts are written, go work for those companies to understand the nuances of the business that you're passionate about, that you want to get into. You can create a Rolodex and a network. Because one of the things when you go get funding, people are going to look at your book. What's in your book? Who's on your your board of directors, they look at their resumes, they look at yours. So if you can show competency and knowledge of specific areas in the startup you want to go into, you're ahead of the curve. And when things happen, and things always do, lives, you can have people in your role.
The panel is, when do you fire someone that's helped you build?
All right, who wants to answer that question?
I can jump in.
All right, we got you. You go ahead. You jump in. Sure. You jump in, and then we'll do it that way. All right, jump in real quick.
Oh. Sure. Putting on an HR hat, my first thought is you've got to go through performance improvement. There was obviously something right at a particular point in time, and you want to have discussions and considering there are issues monthly or quarterly around here's the things you're doing right, here are the things that are concerning. If you are laying out, hey, I need you to correct this in the next 90 days, the next 60 days, and it doesn't, then that is when you need to start thinking about letting them go. But you gotta communicate with them and try to also understand and listen as to what are the changes in their actions and behaviors to where they went from someone who helped you build a great, successful organization, and now they're costing you clients.
So Mr. Fletcher said do a PIP, a performance improvement plan. You want to jump in there? Because you have a lot of folks
You know
work
what?
for you, and then we'll come down.
When you have a person like that, and I understand, Mr. Gardner, that you tend to latch on them almost like family because they helped you. You feel some type of loyalty to this person, even though they started messing up. But it has to get to a point where you say, that's it. And you have to know that it's hard enough to run a business with all the regular problems that's going to happen during the duration you run a business. You don't need somebody from the inside internally tearing you down and put more effort in when you got all your effort to run your business and deal with the things that's happening. So you have to sit down and let them know, look, I care about you. I appreciate everything you've done, but you understand you're hindering our ability to grow because you're becoming a distraction. And if you don't change your ways, I'm gonna give you this last talking to, and you gotta cut them off. You gotta move on. And you'll see that when you do, it'll be tough, but things will start happening right after that.
So you got to be like Willie Nelson, know when to hold them and. Yes, ma'am.
I find it can be extremely difficult to be a founder in a business and to be close to your employees. As a woman, I find that particularly challenging because you will find that it's hard for people to work for you, especially as they see you grow. I think that most employees, they feel compensated not by money, but by acknowledgement. And sometimes our employees will outgrow the business. This is still my business, and I am the founder, and you're going to see me grow, and you're maybe still an employee. I would offer opportunities to engage, and I've had this recently, and it can be breaking. I get an opportunity to engage, to get some additional education, to get involved in what the business plan is. I offered an opportunity to do a technical assistance program so you can grow with the business. And if you want to put that effort in, this extra effort on the side, then you get to step up into a different position because I recognize your worth and I recognize your value. But if you're not on the same page with me, then it's time for us to grow you outside the business. And that can be a success in that you've grown people outside of your business.
Okay, so it still sounds like a process as well.
Definitely, and concur with everything that was said. You know, you are the founder of the business, and you want to make sure that from a legal standpoint, you go through the proper process of the conversations and HR and the PIP if that's needed. But communication is also critical. And so thinking about your relationship that you've had with this individual, and if you're comfortable being able to sit and have a conversation, providing the feedback and getting their feedback. Because, you know, at some point it's taking away from your ability to be creative and do the things that you need to do. But your other employees will also take notice to the fact that there's a behavior that's being tolerated. Why is that happening? And all of a sudden you've got things that are going on in their minds like, well, come on now, you know, this isn't how we operate, what we need to do. It's a tough conversation considering when they've been with you historically, but you've just got to get to the point where you're able to make that tough decision and do what's in everybody's best interest.
That was a great question. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. I think we'll have time for one more question. Well, you have the mic, and then we'll take your last question. I saw you had. So That'll be the last
Oh,
two.
okay. Thank you. Hi, you all. My name is Joyson. I'm the founder of Jay's Watermelonade, which is the first watermelon lemonade company offering a refreshing alternative to sugary drinks, which have been linked to heart disease, diabetes, chronic illnesses affecting communities of color. One thing I'll certainly take away from this conversation is the importance of having systems in my company, but hoping you can share a concrete example of what a system looks like in your business and what procedures do you have in place to keep those systems maintained and improved upon when necessary?
Thanks, Joyce, and great question. Anybody want to take that question about an example of a system that you've created in your company? Yes.
When creating a system, you have to take that same notepad, and more than anybody, you understand the operations. Do some due diligence as it relates to researching the company that you started, anything that's close to it. Go find a company like that and spend some time there watching their operation. And you know what you want and what you don't want in individuals, as far as your company, what your goals are, like keeping the place clean, keeping the machinery clean, and getting more customers, how to present themselves when individuals come from the outside to the inside, they come, how to speak, no profanity, speaking professional, whatever it may be. You sit down and write a game plan of what you want and what you don't want from A to Z. It's going to take some time, and then put it into a training manual, format, and then give it sit down with everybody, even all the way down to, what to do and how to speak to each other when in your environment. That's building that culture and building the systems, and then you train. You got to take some time each and every week to train the individuals that are working with you, to show them what it is you want. Sometimes we get out of touch with the people that we bring into our companies, and that too can be a problem. Because again, you're 100 trillion times more motivated to see your company go to the top than they are. But now that's why you make them a part of it, and you create these systems and then put them in effect. And also make sure that you stay on top of the systems. Don't just make a system and walk away from let them do what they want. Like you tell people, don't put a cell phone in your back pocket while you're at the office. You with me? You see somebody get on them and then make some type of, penalty or some type of something where they can get terminated. Put the system in effect and then act on it.
Thank you. Anybody else want to?
I think an online presence is very important. We have a voice over IP system. The voicemails go to my emails. I can always see what's going on. Our voicemails also send people to the site for bookings if we're closed. It's nice to see things happening while you're asleep. And I think that the way we get people also to our website to do online bookings is from content that is just informative, like what you just said when you started. That's a blog. Drive somebody to your website to then purchase your products. I think all that going together, want that to be manned when you're sleeping.
And having a level of consistency, so in our business, we deal with educating professional athletes. And so we're meeting an NBA team in such and such city on Tuesday night. Typically, a lot of our out-of-state travels Cleveland because it's not a fun town for the teams to hang out in, and they like to be educated there. So you're thinking of all the things that need to be done getting there, what times your player need to be there, what times a facilitator need to be there, and all the backup things that are going to happen. Bus is late. Team has now lost 8 games in a row. So how are you going to pivot and shift and do all the things that need to do so that you're making that evening exciting and presentable for them? But having this in writing so that, all the folks that are involved with the process, travel, curriculum, getting things set up, everybody's on the same page so that you discount the opportunities for failure because of the fact that you've done it, you've reinforced it, and you typically stick to the same script every single time.
And that's what I was going to say. People assume because we've been around 130 some years, we must have it down pat. That's not true. But documenting what you do, in most businesses, there are single points of failure. Everyone know what I mean by a single point of failure? That person's not there, that shuts down, right? Because you depended on that person. You're the startup person. But when you document it in either an operations manual, a training manual, an HR manual, and today put it in a flip book electronically. So when you update that procedure, you're not redoing your entire manual, you're just changing it on the spot, and it's there to be accessed. And then you get buy-in, you train on it, you get people to sign off on it, So they're not surprised when you have to terminate them because you already have outlined this is how we do it at ABC Company, right? Whatever the system is. And that's hard at first because it takes time to document everything. You're like, I got to document everything. But don't you think you need to go on vacation every now and then? That's another whole session. You don't take care of you, nobody's going to take care of you but you. But you should be able to leave your business and somebody else can pick up that for a little while and do what you do because you've documented. They can't think like you think, but they can put payroll in because by now you're not doing just payroll. You've given that to someone else to do. Last question right here.
If you're tired, raise your hand. If your body's feeling tired, this is when you push. This is how entrepreneurs and business owners push right
This is
now.
this is our last, so we're going to push to this last question, okay?
Hi, good evening. My name is Dr. Nicole Singletary. I am a doctor of chiropractic and owner of Them Chiropractic and Wellness Center in Catonsville, Maryland. My question is, when did you all get to a point where you knew it was time to bring in someone to help further the business, to actually hire someone for business development, not marketing, but actual business development, someone that could actually go after contracts or someone that had a true kind of proven track record at, at developing relationships and closing, a really strong closer?
Good question. When we had to make an appointment with you 3 times a week for about a month because our back was hurting, right? All right, anybody want to take that? Jump right in.
To get to that point, a lot of that is on you from the beginning stages. But when you look at companies that are like 100 times larger than your company, you wonder sometimes, how are they doing it? And most of the time, they went out and they hired a consultant to come in and help them run the company as well. That costs a lot of money. So you got to get to a certain point financially as a company to be able to pull that individual in and be able to pay them adequately to help you. People tell you all the time, I can come in, I can consult, but no, you need the big boys. So you just got to get your company to a certain level financially to get the right person to help you go to the next level. If that makes sense. It's possible, but it's money.
That's a good answer. And you got to know what that level is. If somebody gave you $1 million right now, and we could say, yay, but would you be able to hit the ground running with it the time they put it into your hand because you already have a plan for what you would do with that $1 million? And what happens is we get the milestone and then we're like, oh, maybe I'll do this and maybe no. You ought to already have in your mind, this is what I'm going to do when I get this next 100,000, next 250,000, because I'm going for that. If not, you don't have a goal. You just have a hobby. In business, you can't have a hobby. You got to have a financial goal and then say, when I get there, this is who I'm going to hire to take me to the next. I can't get there with who I have now, but I need this, this, and this to get there. Yeah. Not just a business plan to get startup capital. Business plan and not a 10, 15-year plan either, y'all. Doesn't have to be that long. But you ought to have a 24-month plan, a 36-month plan, but it should be tied to a revenue goal. Make sense? Okay.
And actually, to that point, one of the things I'd think about in that scenario, in addition to who's the right person and the right fit, how are you going to compensate them? Because there's some creative ways to do that. What's the gap analysis? Is that something that you are naturally good at and you just don't have the time for it? If that is the case, then bingo, you're close to needing someone. But you find the right person, and how do you compensate them? And that all depends upon how your organization is structured. You might be able to go out and find someone and say, eat what you kill. I'll give you 3% of what you bring into the organization. And there may be plenty of people who are willing to do that. So you're taking less of a risk, and you have a chance to see, are they who they say they are? And are they really bringing in revenue with limited exposure to your organization? So that may be something that you want to think about.
And just to piggyback on both of those points, your business is going to thrive on amazing service, but at the end of the day, having clients coming in on a regular basis to pay for those services. And so a lot of times, we look at a lot of these things that we think we need to have as a business and we invest money in. And at the end of the day, a lot of times it's reevaluating. As Dr. Draper said, you get that $1 million, what are you going to do with it? Well, you might not be in that situation now, but there are expenses that you may be allocating funds towards. Are those critical, or is that money better spent being able to bring someone in, putting the right structure in place to be able to go out and help drive revenue in to then allow the business to grow and to be able to do a variety of these other things that you want to have an opportunity to take a look at doing.
Thank you. Would you join me in thanking this amazing panel, Drew Hawkins, Dr. Nia Banks, Dr. Lance London, and Nicholas Fletcher. Thank you all so much. You really have, I feel like this is television now. You've been a great audience. Thank you so much for joining. No, really, you all are a great audience. And would you also thank Nicole Kirby, who has helped us to organize everything? She has a small business. It's an event planning business. She's got clients all over the country. Some of her staff is here. So it just doesn't happen. We understand that the AFRO, our business is not events. So we hired an event planner to get everything together. So if there's food left, get the food. I don't know if there's drink left. I can't say anything about that, y'all. If you didn't, but come on, network, get somebody's number. Support each other. Buy a subscription to the AFRO. Go to Carolina Kitchens. Sign up for Morgan's program. Go to the spa and send your athletes to Drew and take out a membership to the Reginald Lewis Museum so that Drew doesn't have to raise so much money. Thank you so much. You've been a great audience.
All right, don't leave. The $200 is still up.
Oh, $200.
$200.
Hold it. Don't make it.
Don't do it. Don't
no,
do it.
Wait a minute, hold it. Did you put my card in? Oh, okay. Go. Go ahead.
All right, the drawing has been set. Security Plus has offered 200 big ones. In case you think it's small, yo, this is a multi-million-dollar panel up here. And they were throwing out big numbers, and y'all were looking kind of funny, but you got to get used to saying big numbers to get big numbers. If you can't get used to big numbers, don't go on business. Just go work for somebody. Anyway, $200 goes to Raquel Tyler. Is Raquel in the building? Go see Anthony at Security Plus. Anthony, raise your hand. Sometimes people say they're giving you something and they don't give it to you. Security Plus gave it to you. Oh, you know what? Listen, we're going to wrap this up. Y'all, thank you and good night. No, really. This is the 4th annual Black Business Matters Conference. We have some super, super talented business minds in the building. I hope you met somebody. I hope you took one thing that you can apply to your business. And we look forward. I'm 5th generation of the Afro-American newspaper. This is my mother. We raised the hand, right? In case you didn't know, it's my dad over there, my wife online, my family. This is a family business. It's 5th generation. Some of y'all know me in the city from Drew Hill, managing them since they was 96. But this right here, this is it. This is the business. And as the 5th generation, we got to come back. And I hope to see you get to the next generation in your business. And I hope for this business to see my great grandkids and their kids be able to live and breathe off of just inspiring and educating and talking about the good news in the Black. It's so much bad news with the social media. We act so silly sometimes. And it's so much good news. And I'm not saying we all laugh at TikTok and all that stuff, but it's just.
We got good news out of New
We
York
got some
today.
good news, fellas, ladies. We got some good news. We got some good sponsors. We got some good news happening.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I want y'all to get your energy level up. You got to get
That's
your
right.
mindset.
Get excited.
You get tired. You are going to be tired as an entrepreneur, but your mind can't get tired. You got to just push through that time, and then you're gonna have a moment of a woosah, and then you're gonna be able to be a philanthropist and help somebody.
There you go.
Amen to all of you beautiful people. This is the 4th annual. Remember, 4 means money. All right, let's get that money. All right. Thank you, everybody. Please cut this. I feel shiny on this screen. Anyway.
Again, thank you all for coming. On your way out, we have something for you. So please pick that up on your way out this evening. There are Well, they broke down the food, but and we didn't get a chance to talk to all the sponsors to do that. Thank you so much.
Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA, a safe and trusted community where you can find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond, accessible to all who reach for the stars. What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support, where health education is abundant, where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle, with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being, with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
Calling all future STEM pioneers, leaders, and career champions. Join us on every second Saturday of the month for the BEA Career Day. BEA STEM Career Day is all about creating opportunities for students to venture into the world of STEM through the eyes of professionals. You'll meet mentors and presenters that will give you a sneak peek into the many options available to you in the field of STEM. Hosted by teen ambassadors, you'll find yourself among inspiring peers just like yourself that are aiming high for their future. To take part in the BEA STEM Career Day on Zoom, visit fullstemahead.us and register for the next session. Again, that's fullstemahead.us. BEA, becoming everything you are.